Chapter 997. Shisheng removed all the rocks. There were some tools scattered on the ground. This person seemed to have just come down not long ago and had plenty of food and water on him. Judging from the traces on the side, he probably had companions, but he was too busy running away to care about the food. As for the cause of death, Shisheng flipped the body over with his iron sword and poked him a few times. He didn't see any obvious wounds, but the expression on his face was extremely frightened, as if he had seen something terrible. Could he have been scared to death? Host, are you kidding me? Anyone who dares to be in this line of work must have some guts. How afraid are you of death? Do you dare to go up and check him thoroughly? Shisheng refused. Who knows if he's carrying any strange viruses? Don't. Shisheng thought of the talisman paper that had suddenly disappeared and shivered. Goosebumps appeared on his arms. It was better to get out of here first. Something was secretly stirring up trouble inside. Scared, Shisheng continued to hack forward. Rocks flew everywhere. There was a scream from the other side. It seemed to be frightened. There was someone. Bang. A bullet was shot from the other side. It penetrated the smoke and dust and seemed to move the air. Shisheng raised his sword and swung it. The bullet was reflected by the air and hit the wall beside him. What is that? I don't know. I can't see. There was a conversation on the other side accompanied by the bullet. Don't shoot randomly. Catch it alive. The voice sounded excited. Professor Su, we don't know what's outside. How can we catch it alive? Another voice sounded angry. When you hired us, you didn't say it was so strange inside. Oh, I don't know either. The money I paid you is enough for your descendants to live a good life. Even if you die here, it's worth it. Professor Su. Don't talk. Help me catch that thing over there. Shisheng. What the hell? I might have met a pervert again. Mama, there's a pervert here. Kill him. Kill him. How dare you say I's a thing? Is there anything as good looking as I? Your whole family is a thing. That's the main point, right? Hashtag what's with my host wanting to kill a pervert when she sees one? Did I offend you? Hashtag Shisheng waved his sword again without hesitation. The smoke and dust that were about to dissipate rose again. Someone was probably hit by the sword chi and cried out in pain. Once again, a large part of the surrounding walls were destroyed, and chaotic sounds could be heard from the smoke and dust. What the hell is this? Fuck. Professor Su. Professor Su, we have to retreat. Professor Su was not happy. What are you talking about? Hurry up and catch it for me. We don't even know what's over there. How can we catch it? Professor Su, we have to leave. You can't blame us if you don't leave. Professor Su. With this shout, Shisheng saw a thin figure rush through the smoke and appear in front of her. When the other party saw that it was a person standing there, he was stunned for a moment. Then he quickly looked around. How could it be a person? Shisheng was speechless. This guy must have cat biscuits. Wasn't it a human or a ghost? Could it be a vixen in human skin? Professor Su's eyes turned back to Shisheng. He suddenly became excited. Yes, it must be. Professor Su's eyes lit up. He looked at Shisheng as if he was looking at a lab rat. Shisheng was speechless. He raised his sword and slashed at him. This guy was definitely a pervert. Professor Su did not dodge, and allowed the iron sword to strike him. However, just as the iron sword was about to hit him, a black figure suddenly jumped out from the side and pushed him to the ground. The figure rolled to the side and quickly pulled him up. Oh, help me catch her. Professor Su did not care that he had almost been killed. Instead, he pushed the person who had just saved him forward. Young master. Oh, he shouted with a straight face. She's a human. No, she's not a human. She must be a vixen, Professor Su retorted. Shisheng was speechless. Just because he kept calling her a vixen, he wanted to kill him. Oh was so tall that Professor Su looked like a petite little girl beside him. He easily held Professor Su down. Young master, she's really a human. Professor Su was still excited. How can she be a human? Oh, are you disobeying me? Whose salary do you take? I order you to catch her now. Oh was speechless. He suddenly raised his hand and slashed at Professor Su's neck. Professor Su's body went limp and he lost consciousness. Ao caught him and looked at Shisheng cautiously. Young master means no harm. If he did anything wrong, I apologize on behalf of young master. Shisheng pursed his lips. Did he want to catch me and dissect me? Ao thought for a moment. I think so. Shisheng was speechless. Your answer is so sincere. Just now, this man was able to save that pervert from her sword. This proved that he wasn't a pushover. Since he wasn't a pushover, he definitely wouldn't be easy to bully. Ao felt that the girl opposite him was looking at him strangely. It was like the way his young master looked at those white mice. But when he looked closely, it didn't seem like it. In any case, it gave him a bad feeling. A girl who appeared here alone was definitely not a pushover. Ao carried Professor Su and carefully retreated. Stop right there. Even if he wasn't a pushover, she still wanted to bully him. Maybe she would break him. If she didn't break him, she could only blame herself for not being as good as him. She could just rewind and start all over again. Host, your way of thinking is very dangerous. You can't rewind and start all over again. You can't. Ao didn't stop when he heard her scolding him. Instead, he started running. Shisheng waved her iron sword and slashed it in Ao's direction. The sword swept across the corridor, and everything in its path collapsed. However, Ao was very fast. Even though he was carrying another person, he was already out of sight in the blink of an eye. He ran so fast. Shisheng muttered. She didn't chase after him. The direction in which Ao was running was blocked. Shisheng could only pass through the wall she had slashed at first. There were a lot of things on the ground there. She could vaguely smell blood, but there was no one. Shisheng took a few steps forward and kicked a bag. She squatted down and opened it. The things inside were in a mess. Many of them were things that could only be found in the laboratory. It should be that pervert Professor Su's. Shisheng took out an ID card from the bag. Sunyenji? Who was that? Shisheng went through the plot, and didn't find such a person. Was he cannon fodder? No way. How could such a pervert be cannon fodder? Sunyenji. Professor Su. Yes. In this novel, there was a pervert named Professor Su. He was obsessed with researching all kinds of things that couldn't be explained by science. Anyway, he was against the main character in all kinds of ways. In the end, he was forced to go offline. Chapter 998. Sunyenji was definitely not Feng Xi. Her Feng Xi was not that perverted. Shisheng threw away the ID card and rummaged through her bag. She pulled out a stack of documents. Before she could read the contents, the system suddenly popped out. Side mission, Lost Tomb. Mission clue, dragon-shaped pendant Shisheng. Damn you, who told you to give out such a weird mission? I'll give it to you. Hit me. The system is going offline. Host, you can have fun. If you can't complete the mission, I'll deduct your points. My system is getting more and more arrogant. It even dares to provoke I. The system didn't say anything. It probably went offline. It was still a little scared to face an angry host. Shisheng scolded the system for a while. He found a place to sit down and flipped through the documents. At the beginning of the document was some graffiti. Shisheng looked at it for a long time, but still couldn't understand what it was. It wasn't a mysterious picture. It was a graffiti. The person who did it probably didn't even graduate from kindergarten. The first page was some pictures. They looked very old, and were printed on paper. It was even more blurry. There were some broken stone tablets in the picture. There seemed to be words carved on the tablets. The words were messy, as if weathered. Plus, the picture was blurry. Shisheng couldn't make out the words even with his 24K titanium eyes. Shisheng flipped through the pictures. The documents at the back were probably handwritten information. They were photocopied. Shisheng roughly read through the information. It recorded that before the reform, a group of tomb robbers accidentally entered an ancient tomb. There weren't any relics in the tomb, but it was very big and empty. There were many strange things inside. At that time, ghosts and gods were still believed. The tomb robbers thought they might have found the tomb of God. The tomb of God. They called it the tomb of God in the later information. But as they went deeper, they kept losing people. The tomb of God was so scary that they started to fear. Defilement of God was punishable. In the end, only the person who wrote this information and another person came out. That person told the outsiders about the tomb. They were forced to go down the tomb again. But when they went down, they found that the tomb was different from the first time they came. They had gone down from the same position, so it was impossible for such a situation to occur. This made them even more convinced that this was a divine tomb. This kind of notes ended here, followed by another person's notes. I don't know why he's like this, but it's too scary. I regret it. I shouldn't have brought them in. I was wrong. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. The words "I am guilty" were repeated endlessly. After that, it was typed in regular script. It was information about strange stone tablets found all over the world. No one could understand the words on the stone tablets. They appeared in different places, but they discovered that the stone tablets could be combined. In other words, this was a very large stone tablet. It was just that it had been separated by someone and thrown in different places. So far, they had found a total of 3 stone steels. According to their combination, there should be 4 of them, and one of them was missing. The document did not say a single word about what was inside the tomb of the god of sin. Sheng was speechless. Who the hell knew what was going on? I'm not going to guess anymore. I have to think of a way to trick the dragon-shaped pendant from the female lead. Sheng tossed the document back into her bag. She sat for a while, then bent over to check her foot. Her medicine was effective. The swelling had subsided, but it was impossible for her to jump around. Sheng stood up and swept the flashlight across the ground. A picture suddenly appeared in her sight. It probably fell out of her bag when she was rummaging through her things. Sheng bent over to pick it up. The picture was very clear and colorful. It was an enlarged dragon-shaped picture. The head and tail of the dragon were connected, forming a circle. If it was shrunk, it would be exactly the same as the dragon-shaped pendant on the female lead. As expected, she had to snatch the female lead's dragon-shaped pendant. That was the key. Speaking of which, the host had agreed to bring the female lead and the others in because of this. But why? In the memories she received, there was no memory of the host from 2 years ago in the tomb. So, what did the host see in the tomb? Forget it. I'm not going to think about it. Who cares what she saw? I'm someone who can tear apart gods with my bare hands. Why would I be afraid of something like this? Come on, cause trouble. If she wanted to find the female lead, Sheng couldn't continue attacking. But she didn't know where the female lead was. System? System. No response. Fire. No response. Your master ran away with another system. The system still ignored her. It wasn't online yet? If this system was a weak host, it would have died long ago. Sheng couldn't locate the location herself. The system's authority was too high. How could he obtain a higher level of authority? If she hacked the system, she didn't know if she could get its authority. Although the system's authority wasn't much higher than hers, there were some things that it could control that she couldn't. It was still useful. It was worth a try. So when the system went offline, Sheng secretly prepared to hack it and forcibly take over its authority. Huff! A cold wind blew out of the corridor. A chill invaded her body, causing goosebumps to rise all over her body. Damn, where did this wind come from? Sheng leaned on the sword and panted. She had been walking on this corridor for a long time. She wondered if she was going to walk until the end of time. These corridors extended in all directions. Sometimes, she would find a dead end at the end. Of course, a dead end was useless to Sheng. He could just hack it. Chi. A strange sound suddenly rang out in the quiet corridor. It sounded like some kind of metal scraping against the ground. Sheng shone the flashlight in that direction. They had reached the end of the corridor and needed to turn. The sound came from that direction. The air was filled with a faint smell of blood. Chi. Sheng poked the ground with the iron sword and limped over. He turned the corner and shone the flashlight into the corridor. The smell of blood was carried by the cold wind. There were several corpses lying on the ground. A black figure was squatting beside one of the corpses. The black figure was scratching the ground with his nails. The sound came from that. The black figure was startled by the flashlight. He suddenly turned his head and looked over. F*CK. Monkey. This monkey was about the size of an adult man. He looked like a human when he squatted in a place where the light wasn't strong. Monkey glanced at Shisheng and jumped into the distance, disappearing into the corridor. Asterisk, this is a fake group. Little fairy, I haven't asked for votes in a long time. Come on babies, vote for me. Professor Su, I want to dissect her. Shisheng draws his sword. Oh. Quickly knocks Su Nianji unconscious. I'm sorry, Brother Sheng. Captain He. The two people above are new faces. They've been scammed again. Chief Shui. Cracking melon seeds Emperor. Cracking melon seeds, Imperial concubine Shu. Cracking melon seeds system. What the hell is this? Little fairy. I want to vote. System notification. Little fairy has been kicked out of this group. Chapter 999. The monkey ran away quickly. Only the corpses were left in the corridor. Shisheng looked at the corpses. They looked like rats. There were bite wounds on their bodies. They must have been in great pain when they died. Their faces were contorted. These people didn't belong to the male lead or the female lead. They must have been hired by that pervert. Shisheng stared at the corpses for a moment. He was about to get up when a scream broke the silence. Ah! The scream came from the direction where the monkey disappeared. Shisheng looked up and raised his eyebrows. He had searched high and low for the monkey, only to find it by chance. The scream came from shouting. Yi Yao must be there too. Shisheng followed the scream. After a few turns, he bumped into Yi Yao and the others in a slightly wider corridor. The monkey was confronting them. This monkey must have met them here on the narrow path. Wenbei, get rid of it. Shouting screamed when she saw Shisheng. Gigi. The monkey bared its teeth at shouting and roared. Its sharp fangs were still stained with blood. Its claws were also blood-stained. Shisheng glanced at Yi Yao. The boy in the camouflage uniform was being supported by another boy. Another boy was lying on the ground, blood slowly seeping out. Another one was dead. Wenbei, I'll give you money. Get rid of this thing. The boy in the camouflage uniform was pale. He looked at Shisheng as if he had seen his savior. You can't even keep your life. What do you need money for? Shisheng said disdainfully. I want to make money. I can do it in minutes. I don't need your money. What do you want? I'll give it to you. Please kill it. Xiaoting's voice trembled. She was extremely scared. Shisheng stabbed the iron sword in front of him. The sword gleamed coldly. I want your life. Will you give it to me? Shouting. What was the difference between that and her being torn apart by this monkey? Wenbei, saving a life is more meritorious than building a 7-floor pagoda. If you have the ability to subdue it, why don't you help? We can pay you. Didn't you come here for money? Yi Yao was also anxious. Shisheng's eyes met with Yi Yao's. She pursed her lips into a sarcastic smile and said, If you want to save me, save me. I'm more suited for hell. Yi Yao was speechless. If she had that ability, would she still need to beg you? Shisheng's tone suddenly changed. It's not impossible for me to save you. What do you want? Tell me. The boy in camouflage immediately asked. Give me your dragon-shaped pendant. Shisheng gestured at Yi Yao with his chin. Yi Yao's expression changed and she said nervously, You. What are you talking about? You know very well what I'm talking about. Give me the pendant and I'll help you kill it. Gigi. The monkey seemed to understand Shisheng's words. It suddenly turned around and roared at Shisheng. Don't be nervous. Shisheng waved his hand. I don't want to kill you yet. Gigi. The monkey tilted its head. It seemed to understand Shisheng's words, but it also seemed like it didn't. It stared warily at the iron sword in Shisheng's hand. As an animal, it had an instinctive fear of the iron sword. What is she talking about? The boy in camouflage looked at Yi Yao. Yi Yao reached out to touch her chest. She bit her lip and shook her head. I don't know. The boy in camouflage looked at Yi Yao suspiciously, but in the end, he chose to believe Yi Yao. Wenbei, if you don't want to save us, just say so. Why do you have to propose a deal that doesn't exist? Shisheng shrugged. Anyway, I can still get the pendant after you die. Little guy, go ahead. If you bite me to death, it's on you. If you don't, it's on me. The last sentence was obviously to encourage the monkey. The monkey growled in a low voice. It turned to look at Yi Yao and the others, revealing its sharp fangs. Yi Yao's face suddenly turned pale. She unconsciously clutched her collar. Shouting noticed her movements out of the corner of her eye. She suddenly reached for her neck and pulled out a red string with a pendant on it. Shouting yanked the pendant off and pointed it at Shisheng. Is this it? You want this, right? Shouting. Yi Yao wanted to snatch the pendant back. It was left behind by her father. Before her father disappeared, he stared at this pendant all night long. It must be very important. Shouting avoided Yi Yao and shouted at her angrily. Yi Yao, we're all going to die. Are you still going to be so selfish? I didn't. It was her father's pendant. She just didn't want to take it out. Yi Yao, if she wants it, just give it to her. I'll compensate you when we get out of here, the boy in camouflage said. Even if the pendant was valuable, it was only a little over 1,000,000 yuan. The boy in camouflage was a rich second-generation heir. He didn't care about such a small amount of money. Yi Yao bit her lip. The only clue she had was this pendant. No, it's my father's. But if you don't give it to her, we're all going to die, Shouting said hysterically. I want to get out of here. I don't want to stay here. It's too scary. Yi Yao was struggling in her heart. Her father's pendant and her companions, Yi Yao thought quickly. Even if we give it to her, are you sure she'll save us? She was able to do such a thing before and leave with the pendant. It's not like she can't do it. Yes. Shouting's eyes darted around. She wiped her tears and looked at Shisheng. How can you guarantee that you'll save us if we give it to you? Yi Yao was so angry that she almost vomited blood. She wanted to persuade Shouting to give up, but who knew that this woman, who was usually so stupid, would be so quick-witted at this moment? Believe it or not, it's not like I'm at a disadvantage. Shisheng shrugged nonchalantly. You. Shouting grabbed the pendant and was a little helpless. The person opposite them didn't give any promises. She just looked at them arrogantly. This was different from what she had expected. She looked at the boy in camouflage and silently asked him what they should do now. The boy in camouflage was silent for a while. Then he gritted his teeth. Give it to her. They could only try to stop her. Shouting immediately threw the pendant at the boy in camouflage and said in a choked voice, Can you kill it now? Hurry up. She didn't want to see this monkey for even a second. GG. The monkey let out a sharp cry and pounced on Shouting. Ah! Shouting screamed as she held her head. But she didn't feel any pain for a long time. She carefully opened her eyes. The monkey's sharp claws were just a little bit in front of her eyes. Its face was ferocious, and the smell of blood assaulted her nose. Its eyes were blood-red like ink. Its body slowly pressed down on her. Ah! Shouting held her head and screamed again. Her voice was even louder than before. She wanted to dodge, but she didn't have any strength. Her legs wouldn't listen to her, so she could only hold her head and scream in horror. The monkey pressed her to the ground. There was a cold and sticky liquid flowing down her neck, as if something was wriggling. Shouting. A panicked shout came from the side. What is that? Asterisk, please vote for me. Please vote for me. Please vote for me. Please vote for me. Chapter 1000. The black liquid was spreading up Shouting's neck. Shouting found it difficult to breathe, as if someone was strangling her neck. Help, help me. Shouting's eyes bulged out, filled with horror. Help me. Shouting, what's going on? What's this? Shouting. The boy in the camouflage uniform ignored his own injuries and pulled the monkey's body away from her. Shouting's neck was wrapped in a thick black liquid, which was slowly spreading up to Shouting's face. The boy in the camouflage uniform didn't know where to put his hands and feet, nor did he dare to touch those things. With red eyes he called her name, Shouting. Shouting grabbed his wrist and squeezed out a few words with difficulty. Help me, Wenbei, what's this? The boy in the camouflage uniform could only look at Shisheng. Shisheng was looking at the pendant. Hearing the boy in the camouflage uniform's words, he looked up at Shouting and curled his lips. How would I know? Aren't you a professional grave robber? This is something from the tomb. How could you not know? The boy in the camouflage uniform yelled at Shisheng. Shisheng put away the pendant, approached with his sword, and looked down at Shouting. The black liquid was close to Shouting's mouth, and was going in little by little. Shouting made a sound in her throat, and her body kept twisting. Shouting. The boy in the camouflage uniform didn't know what was going on. He could only yell at Shisheng. Wenbei, hurry up. What's going on? Save Shouting. Ah. Shisheng seemed to come to his senses. He glanced at Shouting and waved his hand. Oh, she's hopeless. Prepare for her funeral. Wenbei. Why are you yelling? No matter how loud you shout, I can't save her. Shisheng glared at the boy in the camouflage uniform. I'm a grave robber, not a medical student. Save me, save. Quite a bit of the black liquid had already entered Shouting's mouth. Some of the liquid was parting and heading towards her nose and ears. You know what this is, don't you? You know how to stop them, don't you? Wenbei, please save Shouting. I was wrong just now. I apologize to you. Please save Shouting. The boy in the camouflage uniform suddenly knelt down before Shisheng in a very sincere manner. Shisheng really didn't know what it was. Wenbei didn't have it in her memory. How to save him? Moreover, they weren't even close, so why should she save them? Ah, let me through. Shisheng subconsciously raised his sword and slashed at a man who suddenly appeared in the distance. The man's body strangely leaned to one side, and with a flicker of shadow, he appeared beside Shouting. Shisheng looked at the iron sword in confusion. What's wrong with you? Iron sword. What does it have to do with me? Master, you're too slow. How could he be so fast? It couldn't be that there was something like teleportation in this plane, right? This didn't conform to the setting. Young master. Ao caught up from behind. When he saw Shisheng holding his sword, he stopped abruptly. Why was it her again? Who are you? The boy in the camouflage uniform stared at the man who suddenly appeared. Sun Yinji quickly sized up Shouting. Without turning his head, he asked, Oh, where's my bag? Ah gritted his teeth. Young master. I lost my bag. He really had 8 lifetimes of bad luck to have such a young master. What? Sun Yinji raised his voice. Who allowed you to lose my bag? Young master, you lost your bag yourself. Have you forgotten? Don't you know how to pick it up for me? What can I do without my bag? Sun Yinji started to get irritated. Hurry up and pick up my bag. Young master, can you calm down a little? Who knew where she had lost her bag? Sun Yinji was going crazy. I can't calm down without my bag. Is there something wrong with his brain? Shisheng suddenly said. All look serious. Young master just has a bad temper. He's not crazy. Oh! Sun Yinji screamed. My bag, I want my bag. I want it now. All looked at Shisheng calmly. Can I go over and knock young master out now? Shisheng put the iron sword on his shoulder and tilted his head, gesturing for him to go over. All walked over to Sun Yinji in a few steps. In front of the stunned people, he raised his hand and put it down. The space suddenly quieted down. All brought Sun Yinji to the side, away from the female lead and the others. It was a 3-way confrontation. Help! Shouting's painful moans broke the strange atmosphere. The boy in the camouflage uniform seemed to have been awakened. He looked at Ao. Can he save Shouting? Ao thought for a moment. Maybe. The boy in the camouflage uniform's eyes lit up. If you ask him to save Shouting, I can give you money. A lot of money, as long as you save Shouting. Ao shook his head. Young master needs to rest. The boy in the camouflage uniform seemed to be shocked by Ao's answer. After a while he said, This is a human life. How can you watch something happen to Shouting? Ao looked away. I won't watch. Ha ha ha. She liked this honest boy. Wenbei. The boy in the camouflage uniform glared at her. It was fine if she didn't help, but she was gloating. Did she have any humanity? Shisheng shrugged and kept the smile on her face. Shisheng and Ao were indifferent. The boy in the camouflage uniform could only watch as the liquid entered Shouting's body. He also wanted to use his hands to remove the liquid, but in the end he retreated. Just like how Shouting saw Haozi's body. After the liquid entered Shouting's body, she stopped struggling. The ferocious expression on her face calmed down, and her breathing became weaker and weaker. Finally, she stopped breathing. She was dead. You'd better make her lose her ability to move, Ah suddenly said. What do you mean? She's already dead. Why won't you let her go? The boy in the camouflage uniform was enraged. Ah was as straightforward as ever. I'm just reminding you. Shisheng remembered Haozi's body. He suddenly fell down, and then jumped up to extort money. Was it that thing that was playing tricks? The boy in the camouflage uniform didn't listen to Ao's words and dragged shouting to a clean place. Yi Yao's head was lowered. Her expression couldn't be seen, but judging from her indifferent attitude toward shouting just now, she probably had some resentment toward shouting. After all, she secretly gave her things to Shisheng. This was the female lead who had a breakdown. It wasn't strange at all that she had strange thoughts. Shisheng stood at the edge of the area, in case she had to run when the corpse came back to life. Ao saw her move and also moved away. The distance between the two of them shortened a lot. Shisheng glanced at Su Nianji and chatted with the boy. Does he have a supernatural ability? What kind of chatting was this? It would be strange if he answered when he asked about someone's privacy. No, young master has learned ninjutsu, the boy answered honestly. The system still needs to go offline to calm down. ## today's cherry blossom flavored vote ## monthly votes cast #. Chapter 1001. What the hell was ninjutsu? How could ninjutsu have such an ability? Were they bullying her because she had never learned it before? Shisheng took out some sunflower seeds and squatted beside Ao. What are you guys doing here? The young master wants to come in. He wants to come in and die. Are you going to die with him? Why didn't he have such a loyal bodyguard? Ao glanced at Shisheng and answered seriously. I will protect the young master. Shisheng's gossipy eyes moved between the two of them. How passionate. Ao felt a little uncomfortable under Shisheng's gaze. Compared to before, her gaze now made him feel even more uncomfortable. What he didn't understand even more was that she still had the energy to chew on sunflower seeds and chat under such circumstances. She even brought sunflower seeds into the tomb. What a weirdo. What is he studying? Shisheng moved closer to Ao. I don't know. Shisheng. What happened to being a straightforward boy? The two of them sized each other up, and the surroundings quieted down. Shisheng didn't leave because he wanted to watch a good show. Ao didn't leave, so he didn't know what he wanted to do. The people on the female lead's side were gathered around shouting, and no one knew what they were discussing. There's something wrong with her. We should leave. Yi Yao tried to persuade the boy in the camouflage uniform. The boy in the camouflage uniform was heartbroken. He held Xiaoting's hand and didn't want to let go. Xiaoting liked Haozi, but the boy in the camouflage uniform liked Xiaoting. It was a mysterious love triangle. The other boy was in the background, but he also felt that Yi Yao made sense. He tried to persuade the boy in the camouflage uniform in a low voice. The things that entered Xiaoting's body felt very strange no matter how he looked at it. If you want to leave, then leave. The boy in the camouflage uniform looked at Xiaoting, and ignored Yi Yao and the other boy. Yi Yao still wanted to persuade the boy in the camouflage uniform, but Xiaoting's eyes suddenly opened. She grabbed the boy in the camouflage uniform by the neck, pulled him to her mouth and bit him. The sound of swallowing could be heard in the quiet corridor. The boy in the camouflage uniform's expression froze. He screamed a few seconds later. He struggled fiercely, but Xiaoting's strength was much greater than before. He struggled a few times but was unable to break free. Instead, he was pressed down by Xiaoting's body, crawling on top of him and drinking his blood. Help! The boy in the camouflage uniform reached out. Yi Yao didn't dare to step forward. She looked at Xiaoting with a pale face. The other guy was so scared that he ran away. Bang! This gunshot shocked Yi Yao so much that she trembled. Xiaoting, who was lying on top of the boy in the camouflage uniform, was hit by the bullet. She roared strangely and arched her body like an animal. She exerted force with her legs and shot in the direction of Yi Yao. Bang bang! A few more gunshots were heard. Yi Yao was pulled aside and Xiaoting fell on the ground where she had been standing. A group of people rushed out of the darkness and quickly took care of shouting. Are you okay? The person holding Yi Yao asked her nervously. Yi Yao panted and shook her head. I'm fine. Thank you. How did she become like this? Yi Yao told the person what had happened. The person's eyes fell on Shisheng and Ao, who were not far away. Shisheng was still eating sunflower seeds. There was a strange smile on his face, which made people uncomfortable. Ao was holding Su Nianji and looking at them expressionlessly. They had been standing there just now and had not done anything when they saw someone being attacked. Boss. The person looked away and waved to the person beside him. A man in a black leather jacket walked out of the group and glanced at Yi Yao. This was the male lead, Pei Yi. Pei Yi was the male lead who was cold and taciturn. Anyway, the male lead did not have any other settings besides this. He walked to Yi Yao's side and reached out to touch her head without saying a word. Boss, the person gave Pei Yi a look. They knew Shisheng because they had walked together before, but they did not know the other two people. Let's go. Pei Yi took Yi Yao's hand and turned to leave. Boss, are we going to leave them alone? Pei Yi did not say anything and just continued to walk forward. Shisheng. F***ck. Are they not going to argue with I? Are they going to leave just like that? The person did not dare to say anything else and left with Pei Yi. Yi Yao looked back at Shisheng. She was probably still thinking about her pendant. This group of people came quickly and left quickly. Soon the walkway was quiet again. All waited for a while and suddenly carried Su Nianji to Xiaoting's body. He pinched Su Nianji's philtrum to wake him up. Oh. Su Nianji woke up slowly. Why did I fall asleep again? Young master doesn't have enough time to rest. Shisheng was stunned. This all was good at lying through his teeth. Where was the honest boy he was supposed to be? Su Nianji stood up and touched his neck. It hurts. Did you hit my neck while I was sleeping? Young master, there's a body here. All pointed at Xiaoting's body on the ground. Su Nianji immediately turned his attention to the body. His eyes lit up. Is it the same as the one we met before? It should be. My bag. Hurry up and get my bag. Su Nianji was trembling with excitement. Young master, I don't know where I lost my bag. The tomb was so big. If you went back to look for it, it would take forever. Su Nianji glared at Ao. Why did I hire you? You can't even look after my bag. Ao replied seriously. Young master, I'm here to protect you. I'm not here to look after your bag. It's your job to look after my bag. I'm going to deduct your salary. Su Nianji stomped his feet in anger. Young master, you've already deducted my salary until next year. Is that so? Su Nianji scratched his head. Then continued to deduct it. All was unmoved. After all, it wasn't young master who paid his salary. He could deduct it as he pleased. Pa! A bag suddenly fell in front of Su Nianji. His eyes lit up as he looked at the bag. His eyes lit up even more. Vixen, you're such a good vixen. Shisheng was speechless. Ao couldn't change the fact that he was a pervert. Shisheng stepped forward and picked up the bag. Hey, what are you doing? Su Nianji grabbed his bag. Give it back to me. What did you just say about me? Shisheng narrowed his eyes as he asked Su Nianji. Vixen? Su Nianji was very bold. Aren't you one? Young master. Ao shouted. Couldn't he see that the person opposite him was about to flip out? Haha. You're the vixen. Did she grow a tail or ears? How could she be a vixen? Haven't you heard that one is not allowed to become a vixen after the founding of the country? Idiot. Young master, she's a human. He didn't really understand why his young master would think that she was a vixen. He had never understood the young master's way of thinking. Su Nianji was suspicious. Really? Ao nodded. It couldn't be more real. That's a pity. Su Nianji's face was full of disappointment. He wasn't interested in living people. Asterisk, please vote. Chapter 1002. Perverts and whatnot. It was better to kill them. Shisheng took the bag and walked back. Su Nianji shouted behind him, Leave the bag. Based on your attitude just now, I won't give it to you. Shisheng ignored him. Su Nianji could only order his bodyguard. Oh, take the bag back. Young master, I can't beat her. Oh said honestly. He still remembered the strange power behind him when he tried to escape last time. How do you know you can't beat her when you haven't even tried? Young master. Okay. Sun Yinji waved his hand. He suddenly rushed forward and hugged Shisheng's leg. I was wrong, sister. Give the bag back to me. All looked away silently. His young master. Well, how should he put it? He was afraid when he lost his principles. Shisheng's mouth twitched. Let go. Sun Yinji hugged him even tighter. Give the bag back to me and I'll let go. Otherwise, I won't let go even if I die. Then go to hell. Damn, it was better to kill this pervert. Before Shisheng could draw his sword, Sun Yinji let go of him and ran back behind Ao. Didn't he say he wouldn't let go even if he died? How did this kind of person become a villain? Did he bribe the plot writer? Asterisk flips table asterisk, there must be a conspiracy. Miss Wen, that bag is useless to you. Can you return it to my young master? Ao spoke on behalf of Sun Yinji. If the bag hadn't appeared, he could still trick his young master into forgetting about it. But now that the bag had appeared, his young master wouldn't stop until he got it back. Shisheng glanced at Ao. Seeing how cute he was, he temporarily gave up the idea of killing the pervert and threw the bag back. You're really a good. Sun Yinji swallowed the word vixen under Shisheng's fierce gaze. Human. As soon as Sun Yinji took the bag, his entire demeanor changed from that of a joker to that of a serious scholar. He took out the tools from the bag and flipped the corpse upside down. Then, he cut open the clothes without a change in his expression. Shisheng watched him dissect the corpse, as if it was made of tofu. This kind of skill couldn't be achieved without years of practice. How many people had he dissected? In order to be able to dissect fresh corpses anytime and anywhere, young master took the forensic science exam. A Wu had appeared beside Shisheng at some point. Shisheng munched on melon seeds. And then he was dissuaded. Why? He was such a good student. All glanced at young master. Young master dissected other people's corpses too. There weren't enough corpses. Shisheng. Dissecting other people's corpses, and leaving them with no corpse to dissect? Very good. This was very perverted. Hashtag I might have met a pervert with a strange style hashtag. Has he ever killed anyone? No. Shisheng was surprised. He's so perverted that he didn't kill anyone. According to the law of perverts, when dead things couldn't satisfy them, they would choose to dissect living people. Young master is not interested in living people. That's why he has to kill them first. Wouldn't it be dead if he killed them? Young master thinks it's troublesome. This reason she didn't know what to say. She wondered how the police would thank her if they knew that there was a pervert who didn't kill people because he thought it was troublesome. Why are you telling me this? Shisheng looked at Ao strangely. One who is unaccountably solicitous is hiding evil intentions. She remembered this saying very clearly. Not everyone was as bored as her, and wanted to stir up trouble. Young master needs a long time. It's boring to wait. So what's wrong with gossiping about his young master? Gossiping about your young master? What's wrong with that? Ao was right when he said that his young master needed a long time. Shisheng propped up her chin. She was bored of eating melon seeds. She glanced at Ao. How long does he need? I don't know. Shisheng's mouth twitched. The pervert's sidekick was so strange. She threw away the melon seed shell in her hand, and got up to walk towards Sun Yinji. When she got closer, she suddenly drew out her iron sword and stabbed it towards the corpse's heart. Sun Yinji. Oh! Shisheng calmly withdrew her iron sword. There was some black liquid on the blade, and it quickly spread towards the top of the iron sword. Sun Yinji's eyes lit up. Don't move. Shisheng swung her iron sword and the black liquid was flung to the wall. In the blink of an eye, the black liquid disappeared into the wall. Sun Yinji's eyes widened. You. What are you doing? Shisheng looked at him fiercely. Sun Yinji's aura weakened. No, nothing. He glanced at the corpse and hurriedly picked up a glass bottle from the ground. He fiddled with the glass bottle near the heart. There was a big ball of black liquid inside. Young master. Ao suddenly rushed forward and grabbed his hand. He actually wanted to touch it with his hand. Was this something that could be touched with one's hand? Ao felt frustrated. If he didn't keep an eye on his young master, he would definitely do something stupid. Su Nianji embarrassedly retracted his hand and used a medium to pour some of the liquid into the glass bottle. The liquid swam in the glass bottle. Su Nianji shone a strong light on it and used a magnifying glass to look at it. "Oh, come and see." Su Nianji stuffed the magnifying glass to Ao. "They are so cute." Under the magnifying glass, the black liquid was actually very small insects. They were pitch black and oval-shaped. Ao couldn't agree at all. How was this thing cute? Cute my ass. Ao hurriedly checked the lid. Not only did he close it tightly, but he also took out some glue and sealed it. "Oh, you will suffocate them." Su Nianji stopped Ao. "Young master, I am thinking about your safety. Even if you die, you will still have a corpse," Ao said seriously. Su Nianji thought about it and probably felt that Ao had a point, so he didn't stop him. "Shisheng, I don't want to play with this perverted duo anymore." Shisheng held his sword and turned around. "Miss Wen, where are you going?" "To kill someone. Can you leave the corpse to me?" Su Nianji suddenly caught up with her, his eyes full of expectation. "Why should I leave it to you? Do you want to eat it? How much did he like corpses? He might as well marry a corpse in the future. Human flesh is delicious." Shisheng was shocked. "Have you eaten human flesh before?" "No." Su Nianji shook his head. "Why would I eat that kind of thing? Then how do you know it is delicious? You scared me to death." "Intuition," Su Nianji said. "Can you leave the corpse to me or not?" "Young master." Ao looked at the mess on the ground, then looked at Su Nianji, who was following behind Shisheng. He quickly threw the corpse into his bag and ran after them. This is a fake group. "Little fairy, it's raining today. It's so cold." "Cherub, I bet a pack of spicy sticks that she will ask for votes next." "System, I bet 2 packs of spicy sticks." "System owner, 3 packs of spicy sticks." "Shisheng, munching on sunflower seeds." "Little fairy, you guys are about to start school. Ha 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 ha. The rain shows that you guys haven't finished your homework yet." "Cherub, system owner." "Shisheng, you guys are still quibbling. Give me the spicy sticks." System notification. Cherub, the system, and the system owner have left this group. Chapter 1003. Su Nianji was not only perverted, but also annoying. This was the conclusion that Shisheng came to after being stalked by Su Nianji. When she pulled out her sword, Su Nianji immediately hugged her thigh and called her sister. She had never seen such a shameless person. Compared to Su Nianji, the sometimes honest and sometimes scheming boy was much more pleasing to the eye. "When are we going to kill someone?" "Kill my ass. Did you see anyone?" Shisheng replied in annoyance. There was not even a ghost here. So what was she doing here? Shisheng felt that Su Nianji might have made him mentally retarded. Indeed, one should not be too close to a mentally retarded person. It was easy to be infected. "Yes." Su Nianji nodded and pointed to a fork in the road. "Isn't that a person?" Shisheng looked at Su Nianji strangely, and then looked in the direction he was pointing. A wall blocked her view, so she could only take 2 steps back and shine the flashlight in that direction. "Where is the person?" The walkway was empty. There was not even a ghost, let alone a person. "That's strange. I saw it." Su Nianji walked in that direction. "How come it's gone?" "Oh, did you see it?" Ao was walking behind him. He had not reached the fork in the road, so how could he see inside? Shisheng looked at the walkway again. After confirming that there was nothing there, he continued to walk forward. Su Nianji hesitated for a while, and then caught up with Shisheng. "I really saw someone. Could it be a ghost?" As he spoke, he became excited again. "It would be great if I could catch a ghost for research." Shisheng. "Haha, if there was a ghost, you would be the first one to die. You want to research? Go ahead, you idiot." Su Nianji couldn't forget the people he met, so he kept telling Shisheng about his little knowledge. However, in front of Shisheng, an old monster who had seen all kinds of monsters, Su Nianji's little knowledge was like kindergarten knowledge. Can you calm him down? Shisheng asked Ao. Ao looked at the excited Su Nianji and then at Shisheng, who was about to draw his sword, and walked to Su Nianji's side. Oh! Su Nianji roared. I dare you to knock me out again. Ao looked at Shisheng silently. How did the young master know? Shisheng coughed and looked away. She didn't know anything. Xiao Bei already told me. Su Nianji sold her out in minutes. Oh. When did the young master become so close to Miss One? He even called her Xiao Bei. Shisheng. Why did you have such a bad mouth? Oh silently retracted his hand. He was conflicted. How could he knock the young master out in the future? He had to bear the consequences of his own actions. Shisheng endured Su Nianji's excited explanation and walked forward violently. Boom! A wall collapsed, and an unpleasant smell came out from inside. Blue flames suddenly lit up around them. Shisheng was no longer in a narrow passage, but in a stone room. The stone room was very big, but there were only 2 coffins and nothing else. After coming down for so long, Shisheng finally saw 2 coffins. Only then did he feel like he was robbing a tomb. It was like walking through a damn maze. What is this place? There are coffins. Are we in the main tomb? This is too shabby. Su Nianji looked inside, but he had no intention of going in. He rolled his eyes and suddenly looked at Shisheng. Xiao Bei, you go in first. Why don't you go in? Shisheng rolled his eyes speechlessly. Su Nianji shook his head. You're the best. You go first. Shisheng pulled Su Nianji, and he stumbled and fell directly into the room. Ao was standing a little behind. When he saw Su Nianji being pushed in by Shisheng, he quickly jumped in. Young master? Are you okay? I told you not to provoke her, but this girl is always violent. You can't afford to provoke her. Shisheng crossed his arms and looked at them from outside. You don't even have the awareness to sacrifice yourself for your career. You might as well go home and sleep. Why don't you come in? Su Nianji was not convinced. Shisheng shrugged and said casually, I don't have a career, so I don't have to sacrifice myself. I will go in when you are sure that you are okay. Oh. He suddenly felt that his young master's moral integrity could still be salvaged. Su Nianji and Ao stayed inside for a while. Shisheng saw that they were alive and kicking, so he went in. Young master, look here. Ao shone the light on the wall of the stone room. Is this a mural? There were some drawings on the wall. The lines were messy and there were some strange circles in the middle. There were similar drawings on the wall of the stone room. I have seen drawings similar to these. Su Nianji asked Ao to pass him the bag. He rummaged through the bag for a while before taking out a few pieces of paper. Look. Shisheng glanced at Su Nianji's hand. The drawings on the paper were very similar to the ones on the wall. It was just that the distribution of the lines and circles was different. Click, rumble. The wall on their side suddenly began to move. Light shone in from the outside. Ao immediately took Su Nianji and hid behind the coffin. Shisheng stood where she was without moving. The wall was still moving slowly. The ground was trembling slightly. The light was getting stronger and stronger. The people outside were gradually revealed. There's something. There was a shout from outside. Shisheng heard the sound of guns being loaded. All the light was focused on Shisheng. A hesitant voice said, Is it Wenbei? The people outside came in with guns. They looked around carefully. After confirming that there was no one, they shouted, It's Wenbei. It had been more than 10 days since they parted ways with the female lead and the others. These people looked a little disheveled. Everyone entered the stone room. The huge team was reduced by half. Wenbei, why are you here? The man who had rushed to the female lead's side for the first time looked at Shisheng strangely. His tone was full of questions. This man was Panko. He was the male lead's second in command. Shisheng immediately turned on his angry mode. It's none of your business where I am. Does your family own this tomb? Panko. Did he eat explosives? Panko's gaze fell behind Shisheng. That was where Shisheng had broken through the wall. Was this the sound they had heard just now? He didn't smell any explosives. How did she blow up the wall? Along the way, they sometimes overlapped with Shisheng's route. They could see some corridors that had been forcefully destroyed. Panko was puzzled. This kind of destruction was impossible for humans to do. How did she do it? Panko. Panko retracted his gaze and hurried back to Pei. Boss, look over there. Pei had already seen it. Although he was puzzled, he didn't show it on his face. Check the surroundings. Panko nodded. He hurriedly sent people to check the surroundings. Whether or not she had ulterior motives, it was much safer than those things that had suddenly appeared. *Hey, is Cherub voting? Begging for votes. Chapter 1004. There are 2 more people here. Ao and Sunyenji were discovered. They had already seen them before, so they were not surprised. They just stared at them warily, in case they were ambushed. Ao was only responsible for Sunyenji's safety. As long as these people did not cause trouble, he would not take the initiative to do anything. Of course, if Sunyenji wanted to cause trouble, he would have no choice but to listen to Sunyenji. After they finished checking the surroundings, Pei walked up to Shisheng. The pendant. Shisheng tilted his head and looked at Yi Yao in the crowd. He narrowed his eyes. You want it? It's mine. Yi Yao looked nervous. My father left it to me. Can you give it back to me? Shisheng raised his eyebrows. It's my reward for saving you. Do you still want it back? They agreed on their own. I didn't agree to it. Yi Yao bit her lip. But Xiao Bei still saved you. That's the truth. You're being ungrateful. Sunyenji suddenly interrupted. Young master. Ao pulled Sunyenji back. This is her business. Why are you interfering? Yi Yao was probably triggered by the words ungrateful. She suddenly became agitated. She threatened me. She had never thought of giving it back to her. If it wasn't for shouting, the pendant. Pei was like a recorder. He did not even change his tone. No. Shisheng laughed arrogantly. Come and snatch it from me if you can. There was no way he could take back something that was already in Ai's hands. Pei's brows furrowed slightly before he suddenly attacked Shisheng's face. Hey, this male lead Darren can do it. The iron sword suddenly appeared in Shisheng's hand. Pei narrowed his eyes and quickly retreated. He stared coldly at the iron sword. Danger. That sword. Shisheng didn't give Pei a chance to analyze the situation. He raised his sword and slashed at Pei. Shisheng tried to kill Pei, but he was met with resistance as usual. It's been so long, but the host still hasn't given up on this idea. Shisheng gritted his teeth. If I can't kill you, then I'll beat you up. Shisheng threw the iron sword away and beat Pei up. Pei's men were probably scared out of their wits. It took them a while to react before they swarmed forward. Shisheng fought 1 against 10 and defeated all of them. Shisheng clapped his hands and flicked his bangs. King retards. You want to fight, I? When I started fighting, your ancestors weren't even born yet. Her expression was confident and arrogant. Her beautiful face was filled with arrogance. She had the aura of a king who was #1 in the world. Some of the men lying on the ground had already fainted. Some were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. They had so many people, but they couldn't beat a woman. They looked at Pei, who was also lying on the ground. They felt much better. Even their boss couldn't beat her. It didn't seem wrong that they couldn't beat her. Ah! Yi Yao suddenly screamed. Shisheng turned around and saw the female lead flying into one of the coffins. The iron sword stood in the air, buzzing and vibrating. Shisheng. She actually wanted to take it. The female lead was indeed bold. Yi Yao held her forehead. Blood flowed from her fingertips and dripped onto the coffin. The top of the coffin was translucent. She could see what was inside. Ah! Yi Yao screamed. She fell from the coffin and crawled to Pei's side on all fours. Everyone was confused by Yi Yao's change. Sunyenji, on the other hand, ran to the coffin excitedly and leaned forward to take a look. Shisheng followed him. He glanced at it and the corner of his mouth twitched. Is this an egg? A dinosaur egg? There was a huge egg in the coffin. Only a dinosaur egg could compare to its size. What kind of cat biscuit was to put an egg in a coffin? No, why would the female lead scream when she saw an egg? Even if it was a little big, It was still within the range of her knowledge. It hadn't broken through the universe, right? Shisheng glanced sideways at the trembling Yi Yao. So what did our female lead see? There was also an egg in the other coffin. The two eggs looked exactly the same. There was no difference. Even the size was similar. Su Nianji's eyes lit up. He said excitedly, "Oh, open it." "Young master, it's not safe." Ah didn't move. They didn't know what was inside. What if it was dangerous? "Open it." Su Nianji raised his voice and started to make trouble. "Hurry up. If you don't do it, I'll do it myself." Ah looked at his and Su Nianji's positions. It would be difficult to secretly knock him out. He could only walk to the coffin. The coffin was an outer one. When Ah pried it open, he found that it was a transparent coffin. The egg was like an exhibit in a museum. Shisheng felt that Yi Yao must have seen something else inside. She quickly retreated to the side and took out a defensive talisman just in case. "Continue," Su Nianji urged Ah. Ah glanced in Shisheng's direction. She had retreated so far away. There might be something strange inside. Shisheng was like a warning device. When she was in a defensive posture, there was an 80% chance that something bad was going to happen. "Oh." Before Su Nianji could finish his words, Ah covered his mouth. He struggled twice and lost consciousness. Pei Ye's people were stunned. What was going on? Betrayal? But it didn't look like it. Ah carried Su Nianji to Shisheng. Shisheng said maliciously, "If he wants to die, let him. You'll be free if he dies. Why are you stopping him?" "If he dies, I have to die too," Ah answered honestly. If he would be free if Su Nianji died, he would have ordered his people to kill him already. Shisheng laughed gloatingly. "That's a pity." Shisheng and Ah went back to watching the show. The scene overlapped with the previous one. The only difference was that Pei Yi and the others were standing last time. This time they were lying down. "What did you see?" Pei Yi supported Yi Yao. He ignored the wounds on his face and asked her. Yi Yao was trembling all over. Her face was as pale as a sheet. She said in a voice as soft as a mosquito, "Monster." Monster? They had seen a lot of monsters since they entered this place. There were dead bodies that suddenly came back to life. There were strange-looking creatures and maze-like tunnels. Pei Yi glanced at the transparent coffin. There was a light source over there. It made the egg look crystal clear. Other than being a little bigger, there was nothing strange about it. The people over there were very calm. They probably didn't see it. So only Yi Yao saw it? Pei Yi shifted his gaze to Shisheng. This woman actually dared to hit him. No, she wanted to kill him. When they first fought, he felt a murderous aura. She wanted to kill him. But he didn't know why she gave up in the end. Pei Yi didn't doubt that he was no match for her if she really wanted to kill him. When Bei. I've said it many times. My Weibo nickname is Little Fairy Shisheng. Don't get the wrong person, okay? This is so King awkward. Chapter 1005. Yi Yao couldn't explain what she saw, so Pei Yi could only comfort her. It was normal for a man of few words to lower his bottom line in front of a female lead. After comforting Yi Yao, Pei Yi organized people to check the two coffins. From time to time, he had to pay attention to Shisheng and Ah. Shisheng found a place to sit down and eat melon seeds. Ah was very suspicious. She ate melon seeds all day long. Didn't she get heedy? He almost didn't see her eat anything. She only nibbled on a few green fruits that he didn't know where she got them from. Every time, she ate them with a disgusted expression. Her pockets were like a treasure bag. He could take anything out of her pockets. Ah checked their food. Most of their food was with the people they hired. They hadn't seen them since they got separated. So there wasn't much food left. If they continued to stay inside, they might not be able to get out in the end. Miss Wen, how many supplies do you have? Ah asked Shisheng. No. Shisheng spread his hands. Where do you think I put the food? Ah looked her up and down. She didn't have anything with her. Then you. Where did she get things from every time? Shisheng leaned towards Ah and said mysteriously. Actually, I'm an immortal. I know magic. Ah. This joke wasn't funny at all. You don't believe me? Shisheng raised his eyebrows. Miss Wen, this is not credible. Which immortal would be so down to earth and eat melon seeds and watch the fun? Wouldn't it be a big deal? Most importantly, according to what he knew, shouldn't immortals be compassionate? Look at all the things she had done along the way. Which one of them had anything to do with compassion? Oh, you're not cute at all. Shisheng ignored Ao after saying this. He ate melon seeds and watched the people tinker with the transparent coffin. However, the transparent coffin didn't have any cracks. The group of people looked at it for a long time, but still couldn't find a way to open it. Shisheng stealthily made the iron sword fly over and hang it over the transparent coffin. Ao glared at her. Miss Wen, what do you want? Shisheng mouthed silently. The iron sword suddenly fell down, and the sharp blade pierced into the transparent coffin. This sudden turn of events frightened the group of people, causing them to retreat one after another. They looked at the iron sword that had suddenly descended in horror. This sword, wasn't it Wenbei's? Everyone, including Pei Yi, looked at Shisheng at the same time. Shisheng was eating sunflower seeds calmly. Kacha. It was not the sound of Shisheng cracking melon seeds. It was coming from right in front of them. The surface of the transparent coffin was cracking like a spider web. The iron sword was suddenly pulled out, creating a strong wind. The transparent coffin was completely cracked open. The broken pieces scattered around and the big egg inside was exposed. The big egg suddenly started to shake as soon as it came into contact with the air. The iron sword hung in the middle and moved with the movement of the egg, as if it was looking for a position. The big egg suddenly rolled out of the coffin. The people around it made way in horror. This egg was actually alive. The big egg rolled out of the way. The iron sword chased after it and fell from time to time. However, it missed every time. Buzz! The iron sword was enraged. It emitted a layer of cold air, causing the surrounding temperature to drop. The big egg paused. It swayed left and right and suddenly rolled towards Yi Yao. Yi Yao looked at the big egg. Her eyes widened in horror. She shook her head. Don't come over. Don't come over. The big egg didn't listen to Yi Yao and ran into her arms. Ah! Yi Yao screamed and tried to push the big egg away. However, the big egg seemed to have recognized her and stuck to her body. The woman and the egg were in a tug-of-war. The iron sword couldn't hit the big egg. It could only ask Shisheng for help. Was it going to attack together? Or what? Whatever. She would be happy if she could kill the female lead. The iron sword received Shisheng's order and slashed wildly. It liked this bold and unpretentious method. But why couldn't it hit the egg? When Shisheng didn't use the iron sword, it was also very destructive. The whole tomb was almost destroyed by it, but the female lead and the egg were still fine. Wenbei, what are you doing? Panko and the others couldn't get close to Yi Yao. They could only shout at Shisheng. Stop your sword. This sword could actually move by itself. This was too overturning their worldview. Well, the things inside had already overturned their worldview. What does it have to do with me? It couldn't control itself. Shisheng shirked the responsibility without changing his expression. Panko, can't you make your sword stop? Who are you kidding? Wenbei. Panko wanted to rush to Shisheng, but Pei Yi pulled him back. He looked at Pei Yi in confusion. Boss. Pei Yi stated the truth calmly. You can't beat her. Panko choked. The scene of him being beaten came to mind. How could a woman be so violent? Pei Yi and Panko walked to the female lead. They wanted to push the egg away from her, but the egg was much stronger than they thought. There was a sword on top of it that could come down at any time, which made it even more difficult. Shisheng shook his head and sighed. She's indeed the female lead. She couldn't even be killed. Just as Shisheng finished speaking, a few stones fell from above her head and landed in front of her. If she hadn't retreated quickly, she wouldn't have been able to keep her pig trotters. F***ck. She definitely didn't get her luck back. Cannon fodder was cannon fodder. She could forget about being treated like a female lead. It was better for her to quietly be a cannon fodder who destroyed the world. Shisheng walked to the side calmly. Oz stared at him blankly. How could he be so calm? Rumble. Countless stones fell from above. Shisheng, who was trying to maintain his cool, was almost hit by a stone. Then Ah saw the girl, who had been so calm just a moment ago, suddenly run out with a face full of F***ck. Oh! More and more stones fell from the tomb. Ah hurriedly carried his young master and chased after her. When he went out, Shisheng had already regained his composure. It was as if the person he saw just now was just an illusion. Miss One. Ah dragged out the word. Look at what you've done. Shisheng looked innocent. I'm just helping them. This was called helping? This was called causing trouble. The entire tomb was collapsing. Yi Yao and the egg were stuck in the innermost position. It was a bit difficult for them to pass through such a large area of collapse. It was very rare to see a live version of an escape. It had to be watched. Pei Yi wanted to rescue Yi Yao, but they realized that the speed of the collapse was increasing. Pei Yi was dragged out. Iron Sword rushed out from the side and stood in front of Shisheng, as if waiting for praise. Pei Yi and the others didn't even have time to breathe a sigh of relief. There was a loud bang behind them and the entire tomb was buried. Smoke and dust billowed and nothing could be seen. ## today's gardenia-flavored vote #cherub. Liangsheng Wei Liang, in the book review section. You can post more in the book review section. Who knows, you might be the next one to read it. Love you guys. I'll vote for you. Chapter 1006. The group of people stared at the buried tomb. What should they do now? Save them. Pei Yi ordered calmly. Boss, how do we save them? It was all buried. How long would it take to dig it out? Panko was more proactive than the others. The moment Pei Yi finished his words, he rushed towards the collapsed tomb. Pei Yi was the second to go over. The others looked at each other and could only go over to help. Yi Yao was near the innermost part of the tomb. Even if the collapsed tomb had changed its position, the difference should not be big. Hence they shouted a few times, but unfortunately no one responded. Since no one responded, they could only dig. When Sun Yanji woke up, Pei Yi's side had only dug less than 1/5 of the hole. He first looked over, then jumped up and pinned Wu down. You're amazing. You even dare to hit me now. If you were in ancient times, you would have been executed long ago. He also dared to hit you before. Shisheng added. Sun Yanji was even angrier when he heard this. He beat Ao up, but Ao did not say a word. Besides, his young master was good at running away. Everything else about him was trash. It did not hurt to beat him up. When Sun Yanji was done venting, he suddenly remembered his business and rushed to the tomb. Where are my eggs? Oh, where are the eggs? Don't tell me they were buried. They were buried. The honest boy looked honest. Ao's answer drove Sun Yanji crazy. Why were they buried? What did you do? Why didn't you take the eggs out? I don't care. I want the eggs. Go and dig them out for me. Oh. He was not the one who collapsed the tomb. Why was the young master yelling at him? The culprit was over there, young master. As Sun Yanji was making a ruckus, Ao could only go and dig the eggs for him. Sun Yanji followed behind him and gave orders blindly. Shisheng looked at Ao and guessed that he was thinking of ways to knock Sun Yanji out again. However, Sun Yanji was vigilant now. It was not so easy. Ao could only accept his fate and dig the eggs. Why was he the one who suffered in the end after what that woman had done? The group of people dug the eggs. Shisheng looked at them in boredom. In the end, he got impatient and took out his phone to play a game. Where did the internet come from? It was a standalone game. The background music of the game started playing, and the people on the other side fell into a strange silence. She was actually playing a game. Why was she in the mood to play games? Did she think she was? They were grave robbing. Grave robbing. Grave robbing. Sun Yanji came over from Ao's side. He glanced at Shisheng's phone and suddenly smiled. Xiaobei, let me play. Don't you have a phone? Why did he want to play with her phone? Ao lost his phone. Young master, you lost your phone. Ao defended himself. He was not going to take the blame. If I say it's you, then it's you. Sun Yanji stared at him. Hurry up and dig. Oh, you are the young master. You are the boss. Everyone. They might have met a fake grave robber. Xiao Bei, let me play. No, sister. Su Nianji started to suck up to her again. Shisheng. Au, hurry up and drag your retarded young master away. I am going to draw my sword. Anyway, the result of this incident was that the people on the other side watched the two of them squat down and play games. Honey was speechless. It took them a long time to dig to the bottom. Yi Yao was pressed under a rock. The protruding rock at the side was used as support to give her some space, so that she would not be smashed into a meat patty. The egg is broken. Someone pointed at the broken shell beside Yi Yao. Let's get Yao Yao out first. The two of you stand over there. Be careful, Panko instructed. But they realized that Yi Yao's leg was pressed down. They wanted to pull her out, but they had to dig the rock at the side away. By the time they got Yi Yao out, another few hours had passed. While they were trying to save Yi Yao, Su Nianji ran over. He looked at the eggshell with a pained expression. How did it break? He looked at it for a while and wanted to go down. Young master, what are you doing? Ao quickly pulled him back. We can study the eggshell too. It was better to have something than nothing. Oh, can you let it go? Who knows how old this egg is? What if it carries a supervirus? The most important thing was that this egg could run before. I'll go. Young master, you stay up here. Ao pulled Su Nianji back. Oh, be careful. Su Nianji said with concern. Ao was wondering why the young master was concerned about him. Then he heard his young master say, "Don't break the eggshell." Haha, why would the young master care about him? It was all an illusion. Ao took a deep breath and went down carefully. He first checked the surroundings to make sure there was nothing strange. Then he put on his gloves and put all the eggshells into the bag. Is there anything down there? Su Nianji asked anxiously as soon as Ao went up. No. Su Nianji looked down. Where did the thing in the egg go? I don't know. Why don't you know anything? Su Nianji suddenly complained. If you didn't knock me out, would I have missed it? Young master, I was thinking about your safety. Ao was used to Su Nianji going crazy from time to time. His previous behavior was much more dangerous than this. Su Nianji suddenly stopped talking. He snatched the bag from Ao's hand and staggered down from the ruins. He walked back to Shisheng, who was still playing games. Shisheng glanced at him and raised his eyebrows at Ao. Was he crazy again? Ao probably understood what Shisheng was trying to say. He shook his head. The young master was not crazy. Shisheng pursed his lips. How could this be called not crazy? He looked like he was terminally ill. Su Nianji was fiddling with his eggshell. Ao stared at him without blinking. He was afraid that his young master would put the eggshell into his mouth if he blinked. That's strange. Su Nianji didn't put the eggshell into his mouth. He just stared at it with a puzzled expression. The inner wall of this eggshell is very smooth and dry. It's hollow inside. Ao wanted to say that it was impossible. He had seen the egg roll all over the ground with his own eyes. But when he thought about his young master's attributes, he silently swallowed his words. What's so strange about it? Shisheng rolled his eyes. This is an egg placed in a coffin. How can it be the same as the one outside? Ao thought that Shisheng was talking nonsense, but his young master actually nodded in agreement. You have a point. Shisheng started egging Su Nianji on again. Isn't there another one? Let your Ao dig it out for you. Right, there was another one. Su Nianji's eyes lit up. Oh. Ao's lips twitched. This one Bei was definitely here to cause trouble. Young master. Ao interrupted him sternly. We have to go out. The food won't last for more than a few days. Asterisk, this is a fake group. Little fairy. Here to cause trouble. 1 minute, 2 minutes, little fairy. Where are you? Little fairy, get up and pee. Little fairy. There's a red packet. Little fairy. Pulling open the member list. Where are the people in I? System. They all left the group because they didn't want to vote. Add them back after you leave. Little fairy. Ah, goodbye friend, goodbye friend. System notification. The group owner has set this group to not allow anyone to join. Chapter 1007. Not only did they not have enough supplies, but Pei Yi and the others also did not have enough supplies. Yi Yao was still unconscious, so they decided to leave first. This place was too strange. Take the egg for example. With so many people watching, it could have rolled on the ground by itself. But when the egg broke, there was nothing inside. Or rather, that thing had already run away. What was inside? There were already so many strange things here. If there was another one, it would make their scalps go numb. They weren't people who hadn't seen the world, but it was definitely their first time seeing such a bizarre tomb. Almost 90% of them agreed to leave first. The remaining 10% did not say anything. Boss, Yi Yao needs to be sent to the hospital. Panko reminded Pei Yi. Pei Yi looked at the unconscious Yi Yao and pondered for a moment. Then he ordered, "Rest and prepare to leave." Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. They were really afraid that Pei Yi would not agree. The people here were settled, but the Ao was in trouble. Sun Yinji grumbled unhappily. "We can leave after digging out the egg." Shisheng answered calmly. "Based on the extent of the collapse, if he were to dig out the coffin alone, all of you would be dead by the time he dug it out." "Don't we still have you?" Sun Yinji looked at Shisheng expectantly. Shisheng laughed coldly and stretched out his hands. "Look at my hands. Do I look like I'm here to dig for you? This pervert actually wants to order me around. Scary. You have that sword." Sun Yinji was even more expectant. "You said it yourself. It's a sword, not an excavator." Shisheng paused and looked sideways. He smiled mockingly. "Besides, why should I help you? We're friends." Sun Yinji raised his voice. "Shouldn't friends help each other? We even played games and ate sunflower seeds together. Friends? Who would be friends with a pervert? You called I a vixen in the beginning. Do you think that I don't remember?" Shisheng said maliciously. "It's not safe to sleep with someone you've slept with now, let alone now when your life is at stake." Sun Yinji opened his mouth, but no sound came out. He looked at the Shisheng for a long time. "In that case, fine." Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly lowered his body and hugged Shisheng's thigh. "Sister, please help me. You're the best. I admire you the most." The male lead's fans. Exum? Was this a godly turn of events? All couldn't bear to look at it and looked away. However, he moved closer to Sun Yinji, ready to knock him out if he caused trouble. "Let go of your grandpa." "No, I won't let go if you don't help me." F***K. Shisheng was so angry that he cursed and grabbed the iron sword next to him. Sensing danger, Sun Yinji immediately let go of Shisheng. "Xiao Bei, no one will want you if you're so fierce." Shisheng glared at him. "It's none of your business. If you dare to hug I's thigh again, I'll chop you up." Sun Yinji muttered. "Aren't thighs meant to be hugged by people?" "Oh. Young master, can you please keep a low profile when hugging someone's thigh? You're so shameless. I'll just knock you out." All walked behind Sun Yinji. As soon as he raised his hand, Sun Yinji turned his head. "Oh. I want the other egg." All closed his eyes and quickly chopped down. The whole world fell silent. "Well done." Shisheng gave All a thumbs up. All was devastated. "If it weren't for you encouraging the young master, I wouldn't have had to knock him out. The young master will make a fuss when he wakes up. It's better to let the young master sleep for a longer time." They were ready to go out, but Shisheng was not. He still had to do her stupid side task. So Shisheng did not go with them. Ao also felt that it was better to separate Sun Yinji and Shisheng. The young master was already hard to please. If there was another person involved, it would be even harder to please. Shisheng waited for everyone to leave. He stood for a while, and then slowly walked to the ruins. Shisheng stabbed the iron sword into the ground. "Dig out that coffin." Iron sword. Very good. Now it had to do a part-time job of digging. Did it have to do a part-time job of building houses in the future? How infuriating. Why did it have such a master? The depressed iron sword destroyed the tomb again, and revealed the coffin. After being hit by so many stones, the coffin was still intact. Shisheng pried open the coffin, and revealed the transparent coffin inside. Shisheng knocked on the transparent coffin lid with his sword. What was this thing made of? It looked like glass, But it definitely did not feel like glass when he touched it. It felt more like jade. But was there such a thing as transparent jade? Shisheng walked around the coffin and looked at it for a while. There was nothing on the coffin except for the egg. Shisheng paused. He raised the iron sword and hacked at the coffin. The iron sword split the coffin into 2 halves. At the same time, the egg was also destroyed. Shisheng took a few steps back and frowned in disgust. What the hell is this? Was it expired? Black liquid was flowing out of the broken egg. It was sticky and smelly. The liquid was also stuck on the eggshell. It was completely different from the smooth eggshell Su Nianji had seen before. It was possible that the egg had not expired. Shisheng nodded her head confidently, jumped up from below and walked out. Host, are you leaving just like that? You went through so much trouble to get the coffin out just to destroy this egg. What else could I do? According to the cliché plot, this egg was weird. Why not destroy it and wait for it to cause trouble? There was a cat biscuit. Shisheng left the tomb and continued to walk forward. The further he went, the more tombs he found. There were also murals in some of them. The content of some murals was similar to the first one. There were also some murals that were different. The carvings on the murals were similar to those on the stone tablets she had seen in Su Nianji's files. Anyway, she couldn't understand them, but she could conclude that those stone tablets were related to this tomb. Chirp chirp. The monkey's cry pulled Shisheng back to reality. She looked at the source of the sound. The monkey's cry was sharp and shrill. It seemed that it was being attacked by something. It was miserable and frightened. Shisheng walked to the wall. The monkey's scream was loud and shrill. Then it quieted down and fell into dead silence. Time passed silently. Bang. The sudden crash scared Shisheng. His hands trembled. She took a few steps back. You scared me to death. Please pretend to be scared first. It's so embarrassing to say that you were scared with an expressionless face. The system complained as usual. But strangely, Shisheng did not complain this time. When the system suspected that the host was going to do something again, Shisheng suddenly took out his iron sword and slashed at the wall. The wall suddenly collapsed. It was dark and silent. Shisheng shone the flashlight in that direction. There was a faint black object on the ground. The surroundings were so empty that the flashlight could not illuminate everything. Shisheng focused the light on a black object. It was similar to the monkeys she had seen before. The fur on its body was riddled with holes as if it had been bitten by something. *K cherub. Do you want to vote? Chapter 1008. Shisheng entered carefully. She walked forward for a while, but she still didn't see any walls or obstacles. This place was ridiculously huge. What was this place? Shisheng continued to walk forward. The light seemed to have swept across something, and a black silhouette gradually appeared in her line of sight. When Shisheng got closer, she was also shocked by the big black thing. It was a huge stone statue. Let's put it this way. It was made of the same material as the coffin, and they were both transparent. This stone statue was very big. Standing in front of it, Shisheng felt like an ant. What was this? Shisheng stepped on her sword and flew up. She circled around the stone statue. When she saw the face, she felt terrible. What the hell was this? What the hell was this? The face of the stone statue was like an octopus, with tentacles on both sides. It looked very ferocious. Mutant? This was AF * King Grave Robber script. Why was there such a thing? This was something that only appeared in science fiction. The way it was changing the channel was too strange. Aliens. Strange species? Prehistoric world? Virus? These were the only words left in Shisheng's mind at this moment. She might have entered a fake grave robber script. No, she had to calm down. Shisheng put the stone statue into her space and quickly walked back. Host, why did you take away the stone statue? Whether it's useful or not, I'll take it away first. Is there a problem? When she wasn't sure whether this thing was dangerous or not, she had to take precautions. Is there a problem? If you take away the item to pass the game, how can the other party pass the game? Okay, the system might be overthinking. Who can pass the game when the host is around? Shisheng left the strange empty space and quickly visited all the places in the tomb that she hadn't been to before. In the end, the whole tomb collapsed, and the places that shouldn't have collapsed also collapsed. Fortunately, there were only 2 eggs in this tomb. Otherwise, the tomb owner would be so angry that he came back to life. Shisheng felt that something was following her, but every time she looked back, she didn't see anything. Shisheng looked at the stone gate in front of him and muttered, "I've never been here before." On the stone door, there was no longer a strange pattern carved on it, but a soaring dragon. There was a circle in the middle of the 2 doors, but the middle was empty. That shape matched Yi Yao's pendant. Shisheng took out the pendant and placed it in the middle of the room. The size of the pendant matched with the size of the pendant, but the stone door did not move. Shisheng was speechless. What was going on? Why can't I open it? What other conditions are you lacking? Could it be that because she wasn't the female lead, Sesame didn't open the door? Flip the table. Where is I's sword? The violent Sheng went online and hacked at the stone door. The stone door was split open, but gas instantly spread out. Anything that came into contact with the gas would make a sizzling sound. These gases were extremely corrosive. Shisheng immediately stepped back. When the gas disappeared, the scene inside the stone door was too horrible to look at. Everything had been corroded. Shisheng's mouth twitched. That was why they had to use a mechanism to open it. This was the consequence of forcefully destroying it. Flip's table, I don't want to play. Calm down, host. Shisheng took a deep breath and looked into the tomb. The tomb was very big, and there was a coffin in it. It looked like it was of high quality. Although part of it was corroded, the part that was not completely corroded was a human skeleton. This should be the main tomb. This tomb was built for this person. Everything useful had probably been corroded, but she found a few lines of words on the coffin that was not completely corroded. They were different from the words in this world. They should be ancient characters. Shisheng did not recognize them. She took a picture of the words and checked the surroundings. After making sure that she did not miss anything, she left. This place was almost completely destroyed. There were no clues at all. It was better to get out first. The exit that Shisheng hacked out was still halfway up the mountain. Seeing the light again, fresh air rushed into his lungs. Shisheng stretched comfortably. Shisheng felt a chill behind him. He looked back, quickly took out the iron sword, jumped on it, and left. Just after she left, a black shadow flashed past the exit. The mountain breeze blew, and everything returned to tranquility. There was a village at the foot of Longxing Mountain. They had lived here for generations. It was said that this village had a history of hundreds of years. In recent years, a primitive ecological tourism area was developed near Longxing Mountain. There were more and more tourists coming to Longxing Mountain. This small village was the first stop of this primitive ecological tourism area. It benefited the most. Shisheng was a little confused when he saw so many people at first. He only reacted later. When they came in, they went around this village. They did not see this village, but the memory of the original owner had information about this village. It was strange. Longxing Mountain's scenery was very good, but when it was planned, Longxing Mountain was kicked out. To go to the scenic area, they had to go around Longxing Mountain. Little girl, are you alone? Do you want a tour guide? 120 yuan a day, including accommodation. I only need 100 yuan a day. I am familiar with this area. Little girl, if you ask me to show you the way, you will not lose out. When Shisheng entered the village, he met many local residents who were doing business. Shisheng rejected them. He went into the village to find a farmhouse to rest, wash up, and have a good meal. Recently, there has been a lot of noise coming from Longxing Mountain. I don't know what's going on. Didn't someone go up the mountain not long ago? Since then, the mountain has not been peaceful. I think those people have angered. Before the man finished speaking, a spoon flew over and smashed in front of him. A loud voice came. What are you talking about? Can't you see that there are guests outside? Go and greet them. Okay. The man responded and quickly ran to the door to greet the guests. The other man also turned around to do other things. Shisheng lowered his head and drank tea. It was quite delicious. After eating and drinking, Shisheng stretched and went out. The sun was a little strong outside, making people's skin feel hot. There seemed to be a rising heat wave around. You think it's yours just because you say it's yours? What evidence do you have? Give it back to me. Why, it's not yours. Why do you want to fight? You really want to fight? F***ck. A quarrel suddenly sounded from the side. Shisheng looked sideways and saw a few people gathered together. Two young men were wrestling. One of the young men was holding something in his hand, which reflected light faintly as it swayed. Shisheng looked away, yawned, and prepared to go back to his room to sleep. He had not had a good rest in the tomb. Just as he was going down the stairs, the two men were suddenly separated. A few men pressed them to the ground. What are you doing? Who are you? The two young men struggled hard. Police. This reprimand instantly silenced the crowd. Chapter 1009. The group of people took out their documents and showed them to the people around them. The two men were dragged up and handcuffed. One of the police officers looked at the things they had just fought over and asked one of the men, "Where did you get this?" The two men's faces were pale. They stuttered, "Sir, we picked it up." "Is this illegal?" "Where did you pick it up?" The policeman asked sternly. "Upstairs." The man pointed to the second floor. When he looked up, he saw Shisheng. He suddenly pointed at her. "It's her. I picked it up in front of her room." Shisheng was speechless. "What the hell? I was just standing there and getting shot? Are you trying to stir up trouble?" A few policemen quickly walked towards her, but they walked past her and didn't arrest her. Shisheng turned around. There was a woman not far behind her. The policemen were rushing towards her. "I knew it. How could a cannon fodder like her get shot when the male and female leads weren't around?" The woman wanted to run away, but she was caught in the end. A few policemen came from behind her. When they passed by Shisheng, the woman suddenly struggled. She knocked away a policeman beside her and rushed toward Shisheng. Shisheng instinctively stepped back. The woman glared at her and rushed over again. Shisheng was dumbfounded. "What are you doing? I wasn't the one who reported you. Why are you suddenly attacking I?" Shisheng grabbed the woman's shoulders and threw her to the ground. "Damn it. Do you think I's a pushover?" The woman stopped moving after she was thrown to the ground. She seemed to have accepted her fate. The policeman hurried over. "Young lady, you're very skilled. Are you hurt?" Shisheng shook her head and let go of the woman. A few policemen pressed the woman up and forced her into the car. The policeman thanked Shisheng and quickly left with the woman. After the policeman left, Shisheng slowly opened her hand and looked down at her palm. It was a note. The woman had given it to her just now. She must have rushed over to pass this note to her. But there was no such person in the original owner's memory. Shisheng unfolded the note. The handwriting on it was a little messy. It was probably written in a panic. August 15th, Hua Jinyuan. Did he give it to the wrong person? Shisheng looked around. Those people were still discussing what had just happened. There was nothing strange about them. Shisheng threw the note on the floor and walked back to his room. It was better not to take such a thing. There was something fishy about it. In the middle of the night, the Shisheng heard noises from next door. The kind of noises that made one's imagination run wild. The sound insulation was not good. Shisheng sat up irritably, walked to the wall, and patted it hard. "Keep your voice down. You're so loud. Come and shout in front of me if you dare." Shisheng's outburst probably angered the people in the next room. Instead of lowering their voices, they became louder. Shisheng tried to hold it in. When he couldn't take it anymore, he jumped out of the window and went to the roof. It was finally quiet. She had slept for a while, so she couldn't sleep now. She took out the pendant and looked at the stars. The workmanship of this pendant wasn't very delicate. She could see some rough marks in several places. This thing couldn't be a high-quality imitation, right? She scanned the year. Shisheng ordered the system in his mind. 1,000 points. Shisheng. I'll give you one more chance. 143 years. The system broke down. Why was it so scared? Master, what kind of system did you install on me? 143 years. It had a history of more than 100 years. But the tomb was obviously older than that. It was a fake. No wonder she couldn't open the door to the tomb. It was a fake. Just as Shisheng found out that she had a clue about a fake, he found out that someone was trying to pry open her door. Misfortunes never come singly. How infuriating. There were two people trying to pry open the door. One was on the lookout, and the other was trying to pry open the door. Shisheng narrowed his eyes. There was indeed something wrong with the note that the woman had given him in the afternoon. There are always idiots who want to harm me. I'm scared. She jumped down from the roof and quietly entered through the window. The two men who had entered were walking towards her bed. Shisheng knocked on the windowsill. The crisp sound startled the two men and made them turn around. A slender figure stood in front of the window. The faint light outside the window shone on her side profile. She smiled slightly. What are you trying to do by sneaking into a girl's room in the middle of the night? The two men looked at each other. What did that woman give you this afternoon? Damn you. I knew you were here for this. It's none of your business. Sneaking into I's room in the middle of the night? Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. One of them threatened coldly. Tell us, or don't blame us. He made a gesture to silence them. Shisheng rolled up his sleeves. Come on, I'm not afraid of you. The two men were a little confused. Why was this different from what they had expected? Who are you? No ordinary person would be so calm in such a situation, let alone provoke them so arrogantly. I'm your ancestor. Shisheng rushed over and pinned them to the ground before they could react. The two men were tied up. They were still in a state of, I don't know what's going on. This doesn't make sense. Shisheng turned on the lights and dragged a chair over to sit in front of them. What do you want from that woman? Who the hell are you? The voice from next door suddenly interrupted them, causing them to blush. The two men felt a bit uncomfortable, but Shisheng's expression did not change. She narrowed her eyes slightly. Answer my question. Who are you? The other man stared at her. I'm your ancestor. Shisheng's expression was fierce. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. If you don't tell me, I'll call the police. The two men were speechless. What kind of joke was that? One look and you know you're not a good person. How dare you call the police? The two continued to remain silent. Shisheng took out her phone and called Young. Of course, the two of them thought that she was just scaring them. However, when they heard the sirens outside, their expressions changed. I don't want to know either. Shisheng stood up and smiled wickedly. If you tell me, maybe I'll let you go if I'm in a good mood. Since you want to ask her personally, I'll fulfill your wish. Shisheng walked to the door. One of them hurriedly said, I'll talk. It's too late. Shisheng opened the door just as the police rushed up. The leading policeman looked at the people who were tied up in the room, and then at the Shisheng standing in front of him. Did you call the police? It's obvious. The policeman's face immediately darkened. Didn't you say there was a murder case? Do you know the consequences of making a false police report? If you guys don't come quickly, I might accidentally kill them. Isn't that a murder case? If you don't talk about a murder case, you guys won't be able to come tomorrow morning. Then when can I rest? The policeman was speechless. Was there something wrong with this little girl's brain? What's that sound? The policeman frowned and scanned the room. Shisheng pointed to the room next door. I can't help it when I'm deeply in love. The policeman was speechless. Chapter 10:10. After a medical examination, Shisheng was normal and not mentally ill. The two people who were caught were indeed fugitives on the run. Other than the strange words that Shisheng said, there was nothing else. Even if there was no way to pursue the matter since she reported fugitives on the run. No, caught fugitives on the run to make up for her mistake. The policeman could only teach her that she could eat whatever she wanted, but not speak whatever she wanted. Miss Wen, are you sure you don't need us to escort you home? The policeman confirmed with Shisheng again. No need. Okay, don't be so reckless next time. You're lucky that they didn't bring guns with them. If you really meet criminals with guns, You won't be able to survive even if you have several lives. Hit the demons if you have something. Shisheng waved at him. The policeman felt that this girl was a little strange. She had been smiling from beginning to end. She was a pretty girl, but for some reason he wanted to beat her up. Retreat. The policeman shuddered and left with his men. Host, why do you keep tormenting the policeman? The policeman in the previous worlds probably didn't want to see her anymore. Well, not only did the policeman not want to see her, the criminals didn't want to see her either. So the host had to be motivated to offend the whole world before she was satisfied? Hit the demons if you have something. Didn't they say so themselves? Why was she tormenting them? Do you know who you are now? A tomb raider. How dare you go to the police and call them? Aren't you afraid that you'll be exposed? Shisheng shook his head. Even if they know that I'm a tomb raider, what can they do to me? Go offline, go offline, go offline. Shisheng went back to his room. The noise in the room next door was still going on. Shisheng's strange gaze drifted to the wall. How energetic was she? Almost everyone came out to watch the commotion just now. Even the sound in the room next door didn't stop. And why did it overlap with the previous one? Shisheng listened carefully for a moment. He was sure that the sound was repeated, but the volume was different. If he didn't pay attention, he wouldn't be able to tell. Shisheng jumped into the room through the window. There was a woman lying on the bed, motionless. Shisheng reached out to check her pulse. She was still alive. There was a tape recorder on the bedside table, and the sound was coming from it. The people in the city were getting more and more playful. I don't really understand how people in the city do things. Shisheng turned off the tape recorder and went back to his room. The next day, Shisheng heard someone talking about a dead person as soon as he woke up. The police team that came last night was now in a room downstairs. Did I activate Grim Reaper mode? Why did people die wherever he went? Host, it's you who doesn't follow the rules. You shouldn't have encountered these things. The person who died downstairs was a woman. It was said that she was traveling with her husband, but at this time, she strangely died in the room. Her belongings were ransacked. The police initially determined that it was a burglary. When the victim died, her husband wasn't in the room. He was fooling around with another woman. Shisheng immediately understood when he heard this. The person who was fooling around in the next room last night was this man. Many police officers had heard the sound, so there was no need to verify it. Shisheng couldn't be bothered with this matter. He lay on the roof and watched the commotion. The police investigated downstairs and questioned the people around, but no one could provide any useful clues. Just as Shisheng was getting bored, his gaze suddenly fell on a group of people in the distance. They looked very disheveled. This group of people was Yi Yao, Pei Yi, and the others. Yi Yao was being carried by someone. She looked very weak. They actually fell behind her. They probably didn't expect the police to be here. All of them looked a little flustered. After all, they weren't decent people. When they wanted to leave, the police had already noticed them and sent someone to ask them. Pei Yi calmly made up an excuse. Although the police were a little puzzled, they believed him in the end and asked the hotel owner to take them to rest quickly. You can't use the rooms downstairs. You can stay upstairs. The lady boss led them upstairs. Wenbei. Shisheng was standing at the top of the stairs. It was hard not to see him. Hi, long time no see. Shisheng waved his hand. You're not dead yet. Seeing that they're not doing well, I'm relieved. The lady boss. What kind of greeting was this? Pei Yi's face darkened. She came out earlier than them and seemed to be quite relaxed. Thinking about what they had experienced in the cemetery, Pei Yi felt a little scared. Pei Yi glanced at her coldly and walked past her. The lady boss felt that the atmosphere was a little strange. She didn't dare to say anything and hurriedly arranged the people. After Pei Yi's people went in, Ao carried Su Nianji up the stairs slowly. Miss One? Ao was surprised to see Shisheng. What's wrong with him? Su Nianji's face was very pale. He looked like he was about to die. Ao moved his cracked lips. He's hungry. Shisheng. He thought that he had finally killed himself. It turned out that he was hungry. Bad. After Ao and Shisheng separated, they wanted to find the exit. However, they encountered some strange animals in the passage. These animals attacked people on sight. Sometimes, there were sudden earthquakes that caused some passages to collapse. They had to take a detour and waste time. When they finally found the exit, there was a rainstorm, and they were trapped on the mountain. They only managed to get out now. Ah helped Su Nianji settle down. When he came out, he saw that Shisheng was still standing there. He hesitated for a moment, and went up to him. Miss One, how did you get out? I slashed out. Shisheng looked down and said casually, I can't burrow underground. Oh. Couldn't he speak properly? He suddenly realized that his young master's words were not so annoying. He was the one who was the most annoying. Miss One, the police are down there. Ah saw that she was staring at the police and reminded her. Aren't you afraid? Shisheng looked sideways. Afraid of what? The police. Awu pondered. From the few words he heard, he could conclude that her identity could not be exposed to the light of day. Shisheng raised his eyebrows slightly and snorted arrogantly. So what? I even called the police yesterday and had close contact with the police uncle. Oh. Who gave you the courage to be so fearless? Be careful of Pei. Oh reminded him one last time. Shisheng looked at him. Oh nodded slightly and turned to enter the room. Asterisk 2017. 0208 Book Review Area. Emotion. Hashtag monthly votes of 2000 with additional chapters. Are you sure you don't want to vote? Hashtag looking for orchid flavored votes today. Hashtag. Chapter 10-11. Shisheng waited for the crowd to disperse before strolling back to her room. She left the room, which was still in good condition, in a mess. It was too noisy downstairs, so she didn't pay attention to this side. How dare these idiots come to her room and cause trouble? She didn't put anything in the room. These people couldn't find anything even if they tore the room apart. Next time, she should put a poisonous scorpion or snake or something. Let them go and never come back. She could settle for the next best thing. Scaring them a little would be great too. Host, can you stop thinking about these things all day long? Why are your thoughts so dangerous? What else can I think about? Shisheng rolled her eyes. How can I defame you? Ahem, host, you should keep thinking. Please don't defame me. I'm just a system abandoned by its owner. Speaking of which, we can try a new function. The system was confused. What new function? Shouldn't you be looking for the person who entered your room? Shisheng took out the tablet and clicked on an icon. The main page of the system store immediately appeared on the screen. Host, what did you do? The system's voice seemed to be a little shrill. Why did the system store appear in your room? She couldn't see these things on her tablet before. Why are you so agitated? It's just a sharing of privileges, Shisheng replied calmly. What? Sharing of privileges? How could it be? It didn't even agree. The system quickly checked again. Sure enough, it found a sharing target, ancestor, under the sharing of privileges. It didn't need to think to know who this person was. What? When did you share it? Why didn't the person involved know the system involved, know anything about it? When you went offline. If I didn't do something when you weren't here, when would I do something? Shisheng quickly browsed through the products. With the system sharing privileges, all the products were discounted. Thinking of the crazy prices the system gave her before and the discounted prices, Shisheng just wanted to strangle the system. Damn it, profiteer. The system was busy removing the sharing privileges, but it couldn't do anything even after a long time. Don't waste your energy. I've locked it. You can't unlock it unless I agree. Host, what are you doing? She was talking about defame me a moment ago, but the next moment, I realized that I was already defame. It was so hopeless. Let's see if I succeed. Shisheng clicked on an item and exchanged for it. 200 points will be deducted. Confirm? Shisheng clicked confirm, and a camera immediately appeared in her hand. When she first looked at it, it cost 10,000 points. 10,000. That's right, it was 10,000 for zeros. 10,000 versus 200. What kind of F*** difference was that? Damn, no wonder the female lead in those transmigration novels never had enough points. So infuriating. Master, I really can't stand her anymore. If you don't come back, you might never see me again. Sheng aimed the camera at the room. On the screen, the time could be rewound by 1 hour, 2 hours, and up to 24 hours. This camera could rewind time in a place and see what had happened in the past. It was similar to the time reversal ability in fantasy novels. It was wondering why she suddenly changed the topic. It turned out that she was waiting here. Sheng rewound time by 3 hours. She had been outside for quite a long time, and the room had been very quiet until an hour and a half ago, when a person climbed in through the window and searched her room. In the end, he found nothing. He took out his phone and sent a message, and then Sheng turned to look in the direction of the potted plant on the windowsill. After a while, she naturally looked back. Just now, her back was to the windowsill, and the camera appeared out of nowhere. It shouldn't have been captured. How dare he install a surveillance camera in her room? I will beat you idiots to death. Sheng put the camera on the table, walked to the potted plant, and found the surveillance camera inside. Then she gave the camera the middle finger. The thing is with me. If you want it, come and get it. Come in person. She had a gloomy smile on her face, and it made people's scalp tingle. It's okay if you don't come. When I find it, I can only ask you to go downstairs and say hello for me. Sheng took down the camera and threw it out of the window. You don't even know what they are looking for, and you dare to say that you have it? My host, you're amazing. On the road not far from the farmhouse, a van was parked on the side of the road. There were a few people inside. Everyone was staring at the computer screen. At this time, the computer screen showed, well, a pig. The person who was holding the computer closed the computer and looked at the fat man in the back seat. Big brother, this girl is a little powerful. No matter how powerful she is, she's still a woman. Big brother, you can deal with her with a finger. You're not afraid of her. How dare she provoke us? That's right. Big brother is the most powerful. Big brother glared at the person who was sucking up to him. Our mission is to get the thing. Are you sure it's with her? We're all watching. When she was arrested, she had contact with this woman. Didn't this woman also admit that the thing is with her? Big brother pondered for a while. When the police leave, we'll go over. Big brother, could it be a trap? Some people were worried. This provocation was too obvious. We must get the thing. Everyone bring your guns. Everyone looked at each other. Someone took out a box from the front and distributed the guns to them. They waited until it was almost midnight before they started to move. They climbed up from the window, but found that the window couldn't be pushed open no matter how hard they tried. She knew that they were coming and would definitely be prepared in advance. Big brother was too big and could only stand below. He looked up at the window. Knock. Ah, just like that? Big brother glanced over, and the underling who was lying on top of the window immediately knocked on the window. He thought that it was a waste of effort. Who knew that after he knocked twice, the window was pushed open and hit his head, knocking him down. A delicate girl leaned on the window and said jokingly, "You don't even dare to walk through the door, and you still want to climb through the window. I owe that person, can you come up?" Of course, she was referring to Big Brother. Big Brother ignored Sheng's provocation. "Where is the thing?" Sheng looked innocent. "What thing?" Big Brother lowered his voice and said, "She gave it to you. Give it to us and we'll pretend that we never saw you. Everyone will live in peace." "I don't have anything." "You said that you have it," Sheng snorted. "If I didn't say that, would you come? Idiots." Asterisk, this is a fake group. Little Fairy, come on, give me the ticket. Cherub, who's the ticket? Little Fairy, the ticket is a gentle, virtuous, dignified and elegant lady. Cherub, then why did you sleep with her? Little Fairy, of course I have to sleep with such a good lady. Cherub, hello, is this Yao Yao Ling? There's an author driving here. Yes, 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 come quickly. Little Fairy, there's no more love. Chapter 10-12. Big Brother's expression turned serious when he heard that. He quickly scanned his surroundings. It was quiet all around. There was no sound. The woman upstairs spoke again. She was as arrogant as ever. Stop looking. I'm alone. I'm enough to deal with you idiots. Big Brother felt insulted like never before. He took out his gun and pointed it at Shisheng. Hand over the thing. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Shisheng smirked. Shoot me if you dare. If you don't, you're a coward. Do you really think I don't dare? Big Brother glared at him. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Shoot me. Big Brother was blabbering on and on. He deserved to be cannon fodder. Big Brother's hand trembled. The woman's smile was a little creepy. He felt a chill run down his spine. The temperature around them seemed to have dropped. A gust of cold wind blew from nowhere, and everyone shivered. Big Brother. This woman was so King evil. His lackeys beside him were also a little scared. Even a trained woman would not be so arrogant when faced with such a situation, let alone an ordinary woman. Did she think she was invincible? How confident was she? Since you're not going to do it, I'm going to do it. He had given this group of idiots a chance, but they did not seize it. There was no saving them. Why were there so many idiots in this world? Because you're an idiot. Idiots see idiots. Of course there were many. Big Brother gave his lackey a look. The lackey shook his head. There was no news yet. Big Brother gritted his teeth in anger. What was wrong with this group of people? They couldn't enter for a long time. Before he came, he had made 2 arrangements. They would stay here, and someone would be at the front door. He would take advantage of the distraction to enter from the front door. But after so long, no one entered the room. Big Brother paused. Young lady, let's talk nicely. I have nothing to say to an idiot. Shisheng threw something down from above. The moment it landed, smoke instantly spread out. The Big Brother and the group of lackeys were shocked at the same time. They wanted to run, but before they could run 2 steps, they couldn't and fell to the ground with a plop. Shisheng waited for the smoke to disperse, then jumped out of the window and tied these people up with ropes. While she was busy, A's voice suddenly rang out. Miss Wen, what are you doing? F***ck. Did this A not make any sound when he walked? So what if you learn ninjutsu? Shisheng took a deep breath and said, I'm kidnapping her. Do you need help? Oh. He dragged 2 people out from the corner. I found them at your door just now. Who did you offend? Shisheng was melancholy. I don't know who I've offended. Damn it, she even knew what the other party wanted. How would she know who she had offended? How infuriating. Help me carry him to my room. Shisheng ordered A. A was very straightforward. He directly carried the man upstairs. I'm going to check on the young master. I'll put him down. You. He didn't continue speaking and turned to walk towards the door. Thank you. A voice suddenly sounded from behind him. A paused. His expression was very strange. She actually thanked him. It was really hard to imagine. Knock, knock, knock. Before A could open the door, someone knocked on the door. Sun Yanji's irritable voice sounded. Oh. A frowned and opened the door. Sun Yanji was standing outside in his pajamas. He glared at him furiously. What are you doing here? Are you thinking of changing jobs? Let me tell you, your contract hasn't expired yet. If you change jobs, you'll have to pay me $3 million for breaching the contract. Oh. Young master, what are you thinking about all day? And what's $3 million? Young master, we haven't signed a contract. Really? Sun Yanji was stunned. Then he said, we'll sign it when we get back. Oh. Young master, you'll lose me if you do this. Really? Sun Yanji's gaze landed on the group of people in the room. His eyes suddenly lit up. He pushed A aside and ran in. He stretched out his hand and touched his neck. His face was full of disappointment. They're alive. Shisheng. Do you think they're dead? There's cat biscuits. Xiaobei, do you want to kill them? Sun Yanji looked at Shisheng expectantly. I want their bodies. Haha. Do you think they're chickens, ducks, and fish that you can kill as you please? If you want to kill them, do it yourself. But I've never killed anyone before. Sun Yanji frowned slightly. I don't like living people. Shisheng squeezed out a sinister smile. I'm also alive. Thank you. Damn it. Your A is also alive. Kill him if you can. Xiaobei, you're different. You're. Shisheng felt that Sun Yinji's next words would not be good, so he glared at him. Sure enough, Sun Yinji changed the topic. You can give me their bodies. So, I'm your corpse provider, right? Flips table. Is this pervert instigating me to kill people? Am I that cruel? When did I kill people for no reason? Flips table. What kind of illusion did this pervert have that made him think that I kill people like flies? Normal idiots are not even qualified to be sacrificed to my sword, let alone kill them. Young master, you should rest. Ao was afraid that Sun Yinji would become a corpse if he continued to stay, so he quickly stopped him. I just woke up. Sun Yinji frowned. Then sleep again. Ao quickly knocked Sun Yinji unconscious. Miss Wen, I'm bringing young master back. Shisheng gave him a thumbs up. Good job, honest boy. Although Sun Yinji was knocked unconscious and brought back, he sneaked back the next morning with his bag. Xiaobei, is she dead? Sun Yinji held the scalpel and asked Shisheng excitedly. I'm ready. Ready for what? Autopsy. Sun Yinji's eyes lit up. Shisheng's mouth twitched. Do you think I'll kill someone here? Why not? Is there a need to consider the occasion to kill someone? Can't we separate them? Idiot. Who taught this pervert such common sense? Sun Yinji continued to suggest. Then where do you want to kill her? I'll ask Ao to find her for you. Shisheng gritted his teeth, picked up Sun Yinji and threw him out of the door. Find your Ao for you to kill. Don't show up in front of I. Xiaobei, you said that you'll leave all the corpses for me. How can you go back on your word? Even if you don't want to kill her now, I can wait until you want to kill her. Damn it. When did she say something like this? Don't make things up, you pervert. Shisheng pulled him into the room and slammed the door shut. The people who had woken up early outside were confused. What was going on? What was she going to kill? What was she doing so early in the morning? Xiaobei, are you going to kill her? Shisheng gritted his teeth. No. She was not that kind of person. It was so troublesome to dispose of corpses. This pervert only cared about the autopsy, not the burial. Why? Are you going to keep them for the Lunar New Year? I am not giving you her corpses. Shisheng repeated the sentence word by word. Asterisk Sun Yinji only liked to dissect corpses. He had never killed anyone, and he would not kill anyone. Yes, he was still cute. Chapter 10:13. Sun Yinji was too noisy, so Shisheng beat him up. After being beaten up, Sun Yinji calmed down. He held his scalpel and sat opposite the group of people who were still unconscious, as if he was waiting for his meal to start. Ao came over and saw the bruises on his young master's face. His mouth twitched. He was beaten up. He was lucky that he didn't lose his life. Young master? Ao walked up to Sun Yinji. Sun Yinji stared at him. I don't want to talk to you. Get out. Ao was confused. What was wrong with him? Ao looked at Shisheng, who was fiddling with the camera. What did you do to my young master? Who knows what's wrong with him? Shisheng put down the camera. Knock him out and bring him back. Don't you dare. Sun Yinji shouted and pointed the scalpel at Ao. If you knock me out again, I'll deduct your salary until the end of your life. Young master, you're not the one who pays my salary. The honest boy exposed him. Sun Yinji blinked. After a while he put down the scalpel and muttered, I'll fire you when we get back. Oh, you're going to fall out of favor. Aowu's forehead was filled with black lines. You still have the nerve to gloat. It's all because of you that young master has become more irritable and erratic. Shisheng spread his hands innocently. It's not my fault. When Sun Yinji was on guard, Ao couldn't knock him out. So after a few attempts and successfully irritated Sun Yinji, Ao gave up the idea of knocking him out. When the group of people woke up, the first thing they saw was Sun Yinji, who was waiting for his meal. The shiny scalpel in his hand and the eager expression on his face scared the group of people. This. What was this person trying to do? Xiaobei, they're awake. Sun Yinji turned around and called out to Shisheng. He didn't forget to suggest, do you want to kill one first? The gang of big brothers who had just woken up were all dumbfounded. What did he mean by killing one first? She really didn't expect that such a good-looking man would be so vicious, wanting to kill. That's not right. When he said kill one, did he mean them? Shisheng threw the thing in his hand at Sun Yinji and scolded fiercely. Shut up. Kill my ass. You think you're inspecting the goods? Pervert. Sun Yinji was not annoyed. Instead, he tried to instigate Shisheng. Kill the chicken to warn the monkey. What do you want to ask? They will definitely tell you soon. Big Brother's party. Although what you said made sense, they didn't want to hear it. They might not be awake yet. Otherwise, why would the world suddenly become so crazy? Shisheng walked towards the group of people. They were all trembling in fear. They were afraid that she would listen to Sun Yinji and kill the chicken to warn the monkey. Big Brother, why are you still not awake? Something big is going to happen. Shisheng enunciated clearly. I don't want to. Sun Yinji was very disappointed. Okay then. Shisheng dragged Sun Yinji aside and kicked his big brother awake. His underlings were sweating profusely. It seemed that it was good that he was awake. With this strength, if she kicked his vital parts, wouldn't he be crippled? Why was this woman so scary? Which little bastard dares to hit I? Big Brother shouted angrily and opened his eyes. A beautiful girl was reflected in his eyes. She smiled and said in a clear voice, It's me. Who are you? Do you know who I am? Big Brother had just woken up and his IQ was not online yet. If you apologize to I now and serve I well, I can forgive you. His underlings were stunned. Big Brother, are you stupid? Maybe it was because his underlings were looking at him too passionately. Big Brother turned his head and twisted his body. He then realized that he was tied up. Memories of last night flooded his mind. Big Brother's expression changed. In the end, he gritted his teeth, straightened his neck, and shouted a classic line. Kill me if you want. Stop shouting. Why would I kill you? Shisheng paused and pursed his lips in disdain. You'll dirty eyes sword. Big Brother, who had been looked down upon last night, could only stare angrily at Shisheng now as a prisoner. But, if you don't answer my questions obediently, I'm not sure if that pervert over there will dissect you alive. Xiao Bei, I don't dissect living people. I hate living people. Shisheng looked sideways. Sun Yinji's words were stuck in his mouth. He could only hold his scalpel and shout at the group of people angrily. What are you looking at? If you keep looking, I'll gouge your eyes out. Big Brother was shocked by the shout. He looked at the scalpel in Sun Yinji's hand and gritted his teeth. No matter what you want to ask, I won't tell you. In their line of work, they had to abide by the rules. If their reputation was ruined, how could they do business in the future? You have some backbone. Then I don't know if your underlings have such backbone. Shisheng's eyes swept across his underlings. His eyes were calm, but they felt as if they were standing on a mountain of knives and a sea of fire. If they were not careful, they would fall and die. The underlings who were swept by his gaze all turned pale. The scalpel in Sun Yinji's hand was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. It shone brightly and made people shiver. They could not ignore it. Big Brother. I don't want to be dissected alive. Underling number 1 trembled. Big Brother, I don't want to either. Anyway, we were hired by someone. It's okay to tell her. Big Brother, I don't want to die. I have parents and children to take care of. Underling number 2 cried bitterly. Big Brother blah blah blah. Shut up, a bunch of cowards. Big Brother was so angry that the fat on his face trembled. The underlings continued to cower. Big Brother, we're just doing it for money. But if we lose our lives, what's the use of money? I don't want to die. I don't want to either. Big Brother. Big Brother's face turned from green to black. There are so many people here. How dare she kill us? Do you have brains? Only you have brains. Shisheng rolled his eyes at Big Brother. It's more convenient to dispose of corpses in the wilderness. Humph. Big Brother snorted and did not answer. Shisheng tilted his head. You really don't want to tell us? One of the underlings opened his mouth, but was stopped by Big Brother's glare. He acted like a big brother. I don't know. Shisheng shrugged and slowly got up. His back was facing them. The atmosphere in the room was exceptionally heavy. Only their heavy breathing could be heard. In the next second, Shisheng suddenly drew his iron sword. The iron sword drew a beautiful arc in the air and pierced into Big Brother's abdomen. Big Brother's eyes widened. You, how dare she? Shisheng smiled. Don't be nervous. You won't die. But if you don't tell us, you'll definitely die from excessive blood loss. It's up to you whether you want to live or die. *. Votes. Monthly votes. Chapter 10:14. How could he not be nervous? They were all going to die. Big Brother could feel the blood draining out of his body. Every time he breathed, his nerves would hurt. Big Brother. Big Brother. He looked at his underlings, who were looking at him with pleading eyes, and gritted his teeth. Will you let us go if I tell you? Shisheng smiled ambiguously. Instead of answering, she asked, Do you believe that? Had he not seen enough of such plots on TV? Big Brother sneered. Then why should I tell you? Shisheng's smile deepened. There's only one way out. Why not take a gamble? If you win, you can live. If you lose, you can drag others down with you. It's not a loss. Although Big Brother felt that there was something wrong with what he said, it seemed to make sense. Big Brother thought for a long time and finally decided to tell Shisheng. Of course, the main reason was that he felt that he could still be saved. We don't know what it is. The buyer only told us that it's with that woman. Big Brother was afraid that Shisheng would not believe him, so he added, I'm telling the truth. Most of the time, we don't know what it is until we get it. Sometimes, we don't even know what it is until the transaction is completed. Shisheng was speechless. You don't know how to hide the cat biscuit? Are you asking for death? Who's the buyer? This, huh? Shisheng raised his eyebrows slightly. Big Brother shook his head. I don't know. It's all text messages. I still have a record on my phone. You can check it if you don't believe me. Shisheng found Big Brother's phone and checked it. There were many text messages. Note 5, it's the one. Shisheng scrolled down to 5. From the first to the last message, they had indeed not met the buyer. However, the buyer had transferred money to them. Shisheng asked Big Brother to give her his card number. She should be able to trace the person who transferred the money to him. Wait, why would I do such a thing? I wasn't here to solve the case. Shisheng threw away his phone and looked at Big Brother. The item is not with me. I don't know what you're looking for. Don't get yourself into trouble with I again. If you were in a less populated place, you'd be dead. So they should be glad that there were so many people here? Xiaobei, aren't you going to kill him? Su Nianji asked when he saw that Shisheng was about to leave. Not everyone is qualified to die under I's sword. A general has a sword but he doesn't kill ants. I have a sword, but I don't kill retards. Hee, the host was acting cool again. If she was really pissed off, she would even chop off the eggs, let alone this kind of two-legged creature. There were two reasons why she didn't kill this group of people now. The first was that it was too troublesome to dispose of the bodies. And the second was that this group of people didn't touch her minefield. What minefield? Who the hell knew what her minefield was? Haven't you heard of women being fickle? It might not be a minefield before, but the next second, it would be a minefield. So, where did the host's strange personality come from? You can use a knife, Su Nianji suggested seriously. Shisheng walked towards the door and waved his hand. Let your awe do it for you. Su Nianji frowned. He seemed a little conflicted and regretful. He threw the scalpel to the Ao and quickly chased after Shisheng. Big Brother. Wait, what should he do? He was going to die from excessive blood loss. Could he help him fight Yao Erling? Shisheng wanted to leave this place, so she asked the lady boss of the farmhouse to hire a car to send her out. When she got into the car, Su Nianji quickly got into the car. What are you doing? Shisheng glared at him. Why was this damn pervert pestering her? Did she have the ability to attract perverts? Otherwise, why did all those perverts like to mess with her? She didn't want to mess with perverts. I'm following you. Following you will lead to corpses. Shisheng didn't need to guess to know what he was trying to say. Did he really think I was a moving morgue? Shisheng grabbed Su Nianji's collar and threw him out. Xiaobei, don't be so heartless. We went through life and death together. Do you really have the heart to leave me here alone? Sister. I will do whatever you want me to do. Don't chase me away. Sun Yinji hugged the car door and refused to let Shisheng close it. He was howling so loudly that the people nearby looked over. Young master. All wanted to knock Sun Yinji out. There were so many people around. Couldn't he calm down? In the past, young master was a little immoral and would do anything to dissect a corpse. But this was the first time he saw the young master being so immoral. Shisheng was desperate to meet such a shameless pervert. He would run away when you were angry, but when you turned around, he would run back. His face was as thick as the city walls. Where was I's sword? Shisheng took out his sword and slashed at Sun Yinji's hand. Young master. Ao quickly pulled Sun Yinji away. We can hire a car to follow Miss One. That makes sense. Sun Yinji nodded. I won't deduct your salary this time. Why are you still standing there? Oh. Endure. Young master was just being willful. He was not crazy. Don't you dare. I didn't want to see this pervert. The honest boy went offline and the scheming boy came online. Miss Wen, this road doesn't belong to you alone. Shisheng. I hate this scheming boy. Shisheng slammed the door and said to the driver, Drive. Don't let them follow us. Okay, no problem. The driver shouted and started the car. The car made a U-turn. From the window, Shisheng saw Sun Yinji fuming in front of a car. And the person he was fuming with was Pei Yi. Only villains and protagonists have true love. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up and get rid of this pervert. Shisheng returned to the place where the host lived. Although he was in a shady job, the host lived in the best villa area in Chaoyang City. No one had come back for a long time, so the house was a little cold. Shisheng simply cleaned up the room he was going to live in and left the rest untouched. Ring. Shisheng had just sat down when the landline in the living room rang. Shisheng raised his eyebrows. After 3 rings, he moved over. But just as he was about to answer the phone, the ringtone stopped. Cat biscuits? Shisheng stared at the landline for a few seconds, then got up and went to the study. There was a computer in the study, but it was not connected to the internet. In other words, there was nothing in the villa that could contact the outside world except for the landline. The signal was very weak, so he could only make calls. Shisheng turned on the computer and looked at it. All the files were encrypted. There was no password in his memory. But this encryption was not a problem for Shisheng. Shisheng was surprised by the contents of the files. They were all about the ancient tomb, and there was a lot of information. It was already the next day when Shisheng finished reading all the information. Ring, ring, ring. The phone in the living room rang again. 3 rings. Shisheng looked at the time on the computer. It was almost the same time as yesterday. Chapter 10:15. That strange ringtone rang again on the 3rd day. Shisheng, who was sitting beside him, picked up the phone and answered the call. Hello. Miss One? You're back? The person on the other end of the line was surprised, or rather very surprised. It was as if her return was something unbelievable. Yes, Shisheng replied. I heard that something happened over there. It's really surprising that Miss One could come back. The person paused and changed the topic. Since Miss One is back, should I hang up your signboard? Shisheng. Hang up what signboard? Was I supposed to take on a client? What kind of stupid setting was this? It was poisonous. Shisheng quickly searched his memory. Some things existed in his memory, but if he didn't try to recall them, he wouldn't be able to recall them. Miss One? Shisheng didn't speak for a long time. The person on the other end of the line was confused. Hang it up. Okay, we have a few orders recently. I'll send you the preliminary information. Shisheng hung up the phone. His face was full of, what the F***ck. Even grave robbers nowadays were organized and disciplined. They knew how to play. This organization was like a middleman. Hanging up signboards meant taking on jobs. If she didn't take on jobs, the people over there wouldn't hang up signboards, and the information wouldn't reach her. Some old employers would directly ask for people they were familiar with. Of course, if they didn't hang up signboards, The people over there wouldn't disturb them no matter how much money they offered. The middleman would never divulge the information of both parties. Therefore, no one knew where these people lived except for the middleman. When someone took on a job, the middleman would call the person's residence every day on time 3 weeks later to confirm whether they were back or alive. The middleman didn't ask about Longxing Mountain. This was also a rule. They were only responsible for communication, not whether the job was done or not. Therefore, they wouldn't ask about the number of people who died, or what the consequences were. The information that the middleman mentioned was delivered to Shisheng the next day. There were 2 kinds of jobs. One was that there was already a specific address. The other was that they needed to find that address. In the first case, in order to ensure that these people would not go there without permission after receiving the information, all possible identifiable marks would be removed from the information. Unless they accepted the job, they wouldn't be able to get the coordinates. The second type did not have such restrictions because the employer did not know the exact location. Out of the 3 documents that Shisheng had obtained, 2 of them did not have a specific location. The other one did, but the risk assessment level was S. Yes, the agency also worked part-time as a risk assessment agent. This was an organized grave robbing group with a certain taste. The first evaluation was based on the geographical location and the employer's description. The second evaluation was based on the summary of the people who had been there. This kind of work rarely succeeded in one try. Most of the time, it required several tries. The fact that it was rated S meant that someone had been there before, and more than once. However, no one had succeeded. Shisheng accepted the S-level job. Host, do you have cat biscuits? Don't you know that unity, love, prosperity, and harmony are advocated now? You'll be handed over to the state. Shisheng shook his head. I think tomb raiding is fun. He had never played such a game before. Li Jisheng, who had played all kinds of games. Games my ass, fun my ass. Host, you still have a mission. What's the hurry? There's still a long way to go. Let them cultivate their relationship first. I'll go and take them apart. If she killed them so quickly, her life would be so boring. The system didn't ask you to take them apart. You're so upset. Let's go offline and calm down. Shisheng accepted this mission. She led people to the tomb. The employer went in person. When they went in, they were valiant and high-spirited. When they came out, they were like caterpillars. Many years later, this was what he described to others. I've never seen such a tomb raider. Even the Japanese who entered the village were not so scary. Except for the tomb chamber where the coffin was placed. She did not destroy the rest of the tomb. As long as it could be destroyed, it did not have a good ending. It was a miracle that they could come out alive. After that, Shisheng accepted jobs. As long as they followed her, they would never ask her for a second time. She was so cruel that they were afraid that the tomb owner would jump up and beat them. This was not a tomb raider. It was more like digging up a grave. But there was one thing. If they went down with her, they could shorten the time by half without making any mistakes. Host, you're too much. The system could not help but educate Shisheng. What did I do? Shisheng looked innocent. It's someone's tomb. Don't you think it's too much to destroy it like this? It's just a bunch of data. If you don't like it, just fix it. Why are you talking to me? Besides, she did not destroy the tomb chamber with the coffin. Compared to those who opened the coffin to steal things, she felt that she was the best. Besides, this is my character setting. If I don't rob tombs, what am I going to do? She had to do her job well. She was a person with a goal. I asked you to rob tombs, not dig up graves. Can't you just rob tombs quietly? Besides, you can live well without robbing tombs. Why do you want to rob tombs? There are cat biscuits. The police will talk to you. Shisheng came up with another fallacious argument. If I destroy the tomb, no one will be able to go in. They should thank me. When she left, she had buried all the exits. If anyone wanted to go in again, they would have to use an excavator. The possibility of digging up the exits was close to zero. I'm so angry. I can't communicate with this retarded host. I want a better host. Master, come back quickly. I don't want to serve you anymore. The system's education was of no use. Shisheng continued to rob tombs violently. Those who dared to rob tombs were not good people. Hence, under Shisheng's 100% completion rate, the employers could only bow their heads to the evil forces. Her name was getting more and more famous in the circle. Previously, her reputation was only spread among the younger generation. Now it had reached the ears of some of the big shots. The Wen family used to be a very big family. They were also the big shots in the circle. Later on, there were only a few of them left. Now Wen Bei was the only one left. When those big shots heard Wen Bei's name, they naturally contacted the Wen family. All kinds of schemes started to form in their hearts. 4th of August. Shisheng received a call from the agent. Someone wanted to see her and asked for her opinion. Shisheng rejected without hesitation. There were only a few days left until the 15th of August. If someone wanted to see her at this time, they were definitely up to something. No. She had been taking on jobs recently, because she wanted to avoid those troublemakers. 1 or 2 of them would be fine, but too many of them would be very annoying. There were always idiots who wanted to secretly plot against I. If I didn't appear, let's see how they would plot against me. So there was another reason for you to rob tombs. Host, why don't you go to heaven? Asterisk hashtag today's rose-flavored ticket number 2017. 0209 book review, Bamboo Sand. Chapter 1016. Shisheng checked the Huajinyuan. It was a theater. Chaoyang City was famous for its theater in the old era. It was an intangible cultural heritage. The people of Chaoyang City also liked to watch shows. Even among the younger generation, many of them had inherited this industry. There were countless theaters located in this city. However, this Huajinyuan was a high-end theater. It was said that the people who watched the theater were all big shots. There were only 2 ways to get in. Either you had a Huajinyuan membership card, or you had someone bring you in. There was only one show in Huajinyuan on August 15th. Shisheng hacked into their computer and found the list of participants. Unsurprisingly, the people on the list were all people in her circle. Logically speaking, since Shisheng had made a name for herself, she should have heard some news. But she hadn't. The only news she'd seen about what happened at Brocade Garden on the 15th of August was the note that woman had given her. Shisheng opened Wen Bei's information and looked through it again. Most of the information overlapped with Su Nianji's information, but there were also some differences. What did Wen Bei know in the tomb? Decrypt. 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 Shisheng pushed the computer away in annoyance. He rubbed his eyebrows. The most annoying thing was to use his brain. Couldn't he be a brainless idiot? Ding-ling-ling. Shisheng looked up and drove to the living room. Just as he was about to get up, the ringtone stopped. 2 seconds later, the ringtone sounded again. The same thing happened 5 times. Something happened. If there was danger and the agent found it, they would use this method to inform him. 3 times was dangerous. He had to be careful. 4 times was dangerous. He had to leave the house. 5 times was very dangerous. Life and death were up to fate. Shisheng looked out of the window. It was raining outside. The rain was pouring down, hitting the window with a pitter-patter. It was a good day. How is it good? It's a good day to kill someone. I'd better go offline. In a villa. Pei Yi lowered his head and flipped through the information. In front of him stood Panko and the others. After a long while, Pei Yi asked, "Have you caught him?" "There's still no news." "Boss, why are we capturing her?" Panko was a little confused. "That woman, pendant." Pei Yi put down his pen. Panko knew what pendant Pei Yi was talking about. It was Yi Yao's pendant. "Boss, are you still planning to go down?" Pei Yi didn't reply. Panko hesitated for a while. "Boss, we lost too many people last time. That tomb is too strange. Even if the pendant is the key, we can't go down rashly." "Where's Yi Yao?" Pei Yi changed the topic. Panko didn't dare to continue persuading him. "Yi Yao's mood has been better recently. I saw her down there just now. Should I call her up?" Although Yi Yao's legs weren't completely crippled, one of them was quite serious. She still had to use crutches to walk. When Yi Yao was in the hospital, she was in a daze. "No need." Pei got up and walked out. I have news to report. Penko's expression darkened, but he could only watch as Pei left. He sighed. Ask about the situation over there. Boss had gone through so much trouble to capture that woman, mostly because he wanted to avenge Yi Yao. The people behind Penko immediately tried to contact someone, but there was no response for a long time. What's the matter? Penko looked at that person. No one replied. That person shook his head strangely. After a moment, his expression changed drastically. He guessed, could something have happened? Penko frowned. It's raining today. The signal might not be good. Try again. That person tried a few more times, but it was still the same. No one replied. Something must have happened. Penko's expression turned ugly. He knew that when Bei was strange and powerful, it wouldn't be easy to capture her. Penko hurriedly went down to look for Pei Yi. Pei Yi and Yi Yao stood in front of the French windows. Yi Yao leaned against Pei Yi's chest. Her eyes were still red as if she had just cried. Penko's gaze quickly swept over Yi Yao's body. Suppressing his unreadable emotions, he said, Boss, something happened. Pei Yi patted Yi Yao's shoulder. Go back to your room. Yi Yao lowered her head and slowly moved back to her room with her crutches. Shisheng looked at the police officers going in and out of her villa. Are you done searching? Miss, are you sure you're all right? The police officers at the door turned around. The neighbors heard gunshots. You've searched the villa inside and out 3 times. Did you find a gun or a suspect? Damn, that idiot dared to open fire without a silencer. She had attracted these idiots. Shisheng continued. Who knows if it's a fake police report from next door? I didn't see anyone or hear anything. Can you guys leave now? The police officers had no choice but to leave. After all, it was just someone who called the police. They didn't have any solid evidence. They could use the excuse of security to get the owner's permission to search the villa, but they couldn't do anything by force. After sending the police officers away, Shisheng gritted her teeth and walked towards the corner of the staircase. She pressed a hidden switch behind the staircase. A small door immediately opened on the side of the staircase. There were 5 bodies inside. These were the people who had come to arrest her. She had killed them. She didn't know 3 of them, but she remembered 2 of them. They were the people who had followed Pei Yi. The male lead was really something. He dared to send people to arrest her. Shisheng scratched her head at the bodies. How should she deal with them? So annoying. She should just put them in the male lead's house. Well, no, she should call them returning people. These people were all the male lead's people. I'm just going to return them to him. Please call me Lei Feng. Shisheng packed the bodies and threw them into the space. After midnight, she went out and went to the male lead's house. Don't ask her how she knew. It was written in the plot. This kind of unimportant plot was written very well. The serious plot was ambiguous. Otherwise, it would be directly erased. What a scam! Pei Yi's villa was a standalone villa with a garden. There were guards outside, so Shisheng easily climbed in. She wanted to rush over and knock out the 2 guards, but she remembered that she was here to stuff corpses. Return people. It was better to keep a low profile. So she went up to the 2nd floor from the back window. It was very quiet on the 2nd floor. The lights were on, so it wasn't very dark. Shisheng looked around. She had to find a more conspicuous place. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to see her. She went all the way from the 2nd floor. The stairs were the only way. It was better to throw the bodies here. Shisheng took the bodies out of the space. She glanced at them and suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why did the bodies shrink? Shisheng took a closer look. They had indeed shrunk. They were all skin and bones. What the F***ck? Was the thing she had put into the space a living thing? Shisheng took out the other bodies. All the bodies were the same. They had shrunk, and only their bodies were left. It was very strange. Chapter 10:17. Rumble. There was an earthquake in the middle of the night. Everyone who lived nearby felt it. The quiet night instantly became noisy. What's going on? Is it an earthquake? F***ck. I was scared to death. I'm so scared. What's that? There were quite a few people living in this villa area. Soon, someone noticed a black shadow towering into the sky. Shisheng slipped out of the villa area, patting his chest and panting. F***ck, I was scared to death. She actually kept a living prop in her space. Host, you just left it here like this? Are you sure nothing will happen? What can happen? At worst, it will come back to life and turn the grave robber script into a doomsday script. She got used to it after scrolling through the channel. The system was going crazy. It really wanted to throw her into the real world and see if she still dared to be so fearless. Why did its host act so recklessly? Wasn't it because she firmly believed that she was just playing a holographic game? If she died, then she died. After all, she was an NPC. If worse came to worst, she could be repaired. Asterisk flips table asterisk. Why did it say that it was a virtual world? The system couldn't wait to go back in time and slap itself. All kinds of headlines about the sudden appearance of the big guy were flying everywhere. The place where the big guy appeared was quickly occupied by groups of scientific research teams. Su Nianji wasn't in Chaoyang City, but when he saw the news, he still ran over excitedly. The first person he looked for wasn't the big guy, but Shisheng. Shisheng opened the door and saw the pervert's face. She was rejected. She was probably not awake yet. She wanted to sleep for a while more. She slammed the door shut and went back to her room to sleep. When she woke up, Su Nianji was still outside. All was trying to pry open her door. It was definitely instigated by that pervert. How could a straightforward boy do such a thing? Shisheng stuck a talisman on the door. Oh, who was trying to pry open the door, was directly sent flying and fell into the flower bed outside. Su Nianji and Ao waited outside the door for a day and a night. Shisheng finally let them in. What are you trying to do? Su Nianji's eyes sparkled. Xiaobei, have you seen the news? The thing on the news is made of the same material as the coffin we saw in the tomb. So what? It was I who put it there. Su Nianji hesitated for a moment. I want it. Then go and move it. Why are you looking for I? Frank Boy answered on behalf of Su Nianji. The security is too strong. We can't get in. F***ck, you guys are still planning to go? And then? What did this have to do with them looking for him? Young Master thinks that you can do it. Young Master still thought that she was a vixen with extraordinary abilities. Yes, she did seem to have some. Haha. Shisheng gave them 2 words expressionlessly. She was the one who put the things there, and now she had to steal it back? She wasn't sick. Xiaobei, sister, I don't want much. I just want a small piece. Can you help me? Su Nianji hugged his thigh. If I can't study it, I won't have the passion to dissect a corpse. Shisheng pulled his leg back. That thing is alive. Go ahead if you want to die. I'm not going. Alive? Su Nianji's eyes lit up. How do you know that it's alive? Have you seen it? Why isn't it in the news? I haven't seen it. Shisheng lied. Then how do you know? I'm not telling you. Su Nianji. Ever since Su Nianji found out that thing was alive, he kept pestering her even if he was beaten up by Shisheng. Even Ao couldn't save this pervert. So they had to call the police. Shisheng sued Su Nianji for harassment and took him to the police station. Ao went to bail him out, and Shisheng finally had some peace. But in just a few hours, Shisheng saw Su Nianji's figure on the news. He was being protected in the middle, and the words "baby, I'm coming" were written all over his face. He was walking towards the 6-story tall stone statue. So, how did he manage to sneak in? At night, Ao brought Su Nianji back with a dejected look. What's wrong with him? Ao answered honestly. Young Master couldn't get the material on the statue. He's unhappy. Shisheng touched his chin. I'm curious. How did he get in? Ao glanced at Su Nianji and said honestly, Young Master used his grandfather's name. Who was Su Nianji's grandfather? How would I know? He was a villain, and he was going to die anyway. Who would write about his family background? But if he had a way to get in, why would he come to I? This matter caused a huge commotion in Chaoyang City. Everyone's attention was focused on this matter. There were all kinds of speculations, and the headlines were very lively every day. The 15th of August was approaching. Shisheng was packing up and getting ready to go out, when Su Nianji looked up from a pile of human tissue. Xiao Bei, where are you going? I'm going to cause trouble. Su Nianji immediately took off his gloves, grabbed his bag and ran to Shisheng. I'm going too. Shisheng's mouth twitched. What are you going to do? He even brought that bag. Was he going to dissect the corpse? Su Nianji blinked. I'm going to cause trouble. Didn't you say so? If she caused trouble, there would definitely be corpses. Shisheng gritted his teeth. Who the hell wants to cause trouble with you? I alone am enough to show off. Ao interrupted. Young master, old master is calling. He wants you to go over. Su Nianji stubbornly refused. I'm not going. It's about the transparent stone statue. There are no new developments. I'm not going. Oh, fine. Now the young master had set his mind on her. He could even refuse such a thing. Ao went to reply to the person on the other side. When he came out, he saw his young master unconscious on the ground and Shisheng gone. Shisheng walked all the way to Huajinyuan. There were many cars parked outside. The greeters were wearing vintage uniforms and were welcoming them in one by one. Shisheng noticed that the people who came here were all over 40 years old and had bodyguards with them. There was no young face. She did not have a membership card and did not know many people, so Shisheng decided to use the old method, climbing over the wall. She had checked the map of Huajinyuan before coming here. She had also been here before, so it was easy for her to get in now. Shisheng jumped down from the wall. Just as he steadied himself, another figure landed beside him. It was a corner with a strange decoration. Shisheng climbed on one side, and the black figure climbed on the other, so Shisheng did not notice that there was another person climbing the wall like him. The other party saw someone standing there, and was stunned. Then, he stared at her warily. Shisheng patted his clothes calmly. You're climbing the wall too? What a coincidence. Want to go in together? Asterisk haha. Please forgive Su Nianji's psychological trauma. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.